Hello and welcome into the Erie Tiger Network. Brandon Bird here with you. We are live from Tiger Stadium for this 4A second round playoff matchup. It's the Erie Tigers versus the Fruita Monument Wildcats. So glad you could join us tonight. We have an extended pregame for you. Joining us up here in the broadcast booth for this game is J.J. King and Ethan Dillinger. You'll hear from them throughout the night. We have a fully loaded pregame ready for you here. We tried to do multi-camera. We really tried to do up this broadcast. So, well, at this point, boys, we've done everything we can. We just got to hope that nothing goes wrong. Like we said, a full pregame for you. We're going to talk with Coach Geiger. We'll have some highlights from last week, a season recap that Ethan Dillinger was able to do, a game preview. We'll kind of talk about that between me, JJ, and Ethan. We caught up with Caleb Thiessen. We're going to look at games from around the state and have some playoff picks for you here today between me, Ethan, and JJ. We'll have by the numbers, keys to the game, starters, and then, of course, the national anthem and kickoff. All that coming your way, and we'll hope to have that by 7 o'clock. So glad you could join us here. Joining me here is Ethan Dillinger and JJ. And, guys, we have waited a while for the playoffs and really for a big game. All season long, it's been blowout after blowout, but this already just feels a little bit different. Fruita Monument coming off a huge win last week against Brighton. Ethan, just some real quick initial thoughts about this matchup.
Well, I talked to a couple of the guys from the football team today, and a lot of what they had to say was stopping the run. Fruita is a big running offense. They'll run between the tackles a lot, and the boys are really excited to have their D-line go up against that run game.
Yeah, that might sound a little bit like a broken record in our pregame. JJ, what's the temperature of the school like? The fans pretty excited for this one?
Yeah, students are hyped. Back to playoff football, didn't have that last year. And the players are hyped for the student section to be back in electric for playoff time.
All right, it should be a good one. Hey, we were lucky enough to catch up with Coach Geiger earlier this week, and we sat down with him. First time we've really had the chance to sit down with him this season, and here is what Coach had to say. Welcome back into our pregame show. We're here with Coach Geiger, and Coach, first time we've really had a chance to sit down with you this year and get to talk to you, but just kind of your overall reflections on your 10-0 season.
When you first take over a program, you don't know how everything's going to go. So I think it probably didn't even hit until maybe there at the end that we were in that situation, because it seemed like each week you're working so hard at trying to get, your culture established or get everybody on the same page. But these young men have done a great job of buying in, and I felt like we each week got a little better at something, and that's always the focal point, is getting better each week at something. As for the 10-0, just like after we got done, told the guys, celebrate it, but then, starting last Monday, it didn't matter anymore. Now everybody's 0-0, and it's playoff time, and nobody cares.
You talked about the buy-in with the guys in the program. Was there a point in the season where you felt like they had kind of turned the corner in that regards?
Yeah, I think a few. I think Bear Creek second half was a big thing for us. We didn't play very well in the first half, and they kind of came out and punched us in the mouth. But then in the second half, I thought the guys handled halftime real well, and talked to them about that it was fun. Those were games that you should enjoy to be in, and I thought they handled that well and really came out and played much better in the second half. Trying to think, there was another one, might have been, would have been home, probably Silver Creek was at homecoming. I thought that was another one at halftime, even though we were up. I don't know if we were playing our best football, and thought in the second half we came out and really established ourselves. And each little moment, I think when you watch them and how they respond to the questions and how they respond to each other, I felt like those two moments, I think, were two big ones. And then just different times at practice where we've had kind of our ups and downs, where you get on them because maybe we're not practicing well enough or whatever, and how they handle those situations and how they come back the next day. There was a few instances, and the Broomfield week was huge too. I thought they really dialed into that, and that game, I think, was one that I think we really kind of hit our stride together.
You mentioned the Bear Creek game, and when we were doing prep work for this week, we kind of looked back over the course of the season. That's really the only time that you guys have trailed all season. Do you think that's a little bit of a disadvantage going into playoffs, that there haven't been too many moments where these guys have been battle-tested or had to have a difficult fight in the fourth quarter?
You know, I think that's the million-dollar question that we're still trying to figure out. Because I think the quick answer would be yes. It is a disadvantage because we don't know necessarily how they're going to handle it. I think what we've tried to talk to them about is there's that fine line between being confident and being cocky. You want a team that's confident, a team that believes that they're going to win every time they step on the field. But you don't want a team that steps on the field and thinks they're going to win just because. And I think we've addressed that, and I think the kids have handled that well. So I hope it's not, but unfortunately, till you're in those situations, I guess you just don't know.
You've been able to win a state championship before. Obviously, there's still a lot of football left to be played to get to that point, but do you see traits from this Erie team that kind of remind you of traits from past state championship teams that you've coached?
Very similar to the first one I had at Strasburg, in the sense that there's a lot of talent on the team. They are very squirrely at practice. Trying to get them dialed in sometimes is challenging, but they seem to rise on Friday nights, and not necessarily as a coach the way you want it. You'd like to see that a little more during the week, but they've handled themselves real well on Friday nights. So I think the short answer is yes, and each team is always unique. So this team does have some unique qualities, I think, good, and then some that I think we're still trying to work on. But yeah, they definitely have a lot of the qualities it takes to win, I think. One of them we don't know is how we'll respond to the adversity of being behind if we get to that point.
Shifting our focus kind of to the opponent this week in Fruita Monument, obviously a huge win over Brighton last week. Does coming from Brighton, knowing that personnel, watching the film, seeing how Brighton tried to defend Fruita Monument, what worked well, what didn't, does that give you at all a little bit of an advantage in terms of prepping for Fruita Monument?
They switched up their defense from what we ran before, and they had a lot of trouble stopping Fruita's main play, but they did line up in an odd front, which we run, so it did give us a little bit of an idea. Also knowing those guys, got a chance to talk to them, and anytime you play a game, there's always things you wish you would have done different, or or what you liked or whatever, and I got a chance to talk to them about that. So I think, in a way, maybe it helped. Fruita's a darn good team, and then anytime you're playing teams from the Western Slope, there's just a lot of unknowns there because they kind of tend to play everybody over there, and you don't have much comparison over on this side. But they also play like most of the teams on the Western Slope. They're physical, tough. They run downhill. They play smash mouth football. Most of those teams over there do. So I think maybe a little bit of advantage, but overall, I guess anybody else out there looking at it and sees the score of what they did compared to what we did with Brighton would tell you that they obviously are a good team, and we'll have our hands full.
You guys earn the bye, you get a week off, a little bit of a refresher. What's kind of the message to the team this week as you prepare for the first playoff game?
The biggest one has been, we're kind of being overlooked, and that's, I think, can be a good thing. We talked about the 10-0 sometimes can carry pressure, but in a way, I think a lot of people have taken that off of us by putting us as the 5 seed, and there's a lot of people out there that I think Fruita will beat us. So I think that's been the main thing. And then also we've had some guys from the past Erie teams have come and talked to the guys. A couple of our coaches played on the last, 94 or whatever, a long time ago, played on a team that was undefeated and then lost in the first round of the playoffs. So we've had guys talk to them about different situations and hopefully kind of reminding them that it doesn't matter what we've done in the past now. Everything is fresh and new, and everybody's 0-0, and it's just like playing the first game of the season again.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck to you guys today. That was head coach Jeff Geiger. We will be back after a timeout here on the Erie Tiger Network.
And welcome back into our pregame show here on the Erie Tiger Network. So glad you could join us. You got to hear from Coach Geiger there real quick. Pretty good interview, good insight into the season and what we should expect tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about tonight. We'll have a season recap video, a regular season recap video coming up in a little bit, but we're going to take a timeout here on the Erie Tiger Network.
Welcome back into our pregame show. We're here with Coach Geiger and Coach, first time.
Are you looking to buy or sell a new home? Jen McGurk, an experienced real estate agent serving Erie, Vista Ridge, and the surrounding Denver area. For years, Jen has assisted all types of buyers and sellers with their real estate needs. Give Jen a call today at 303-949-3331 or check out Jen Realty online at jenrealty.com.
Front Range Landfill puts all your needs in front of everything else. Front Range Landfill won Erie Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year Award, as well as being featured on national television. We are very proud of our facility and we welcome the opportunity to address your disposal needs. Our focus is on customer service. We strive to achieve easy and rapid access in and out of the facility. We feel certain that we will exceed your expectations of your solid waste disposal requirements. Choose Front Range Landfill for all your landfill needs. You will be pleased.
And welcome back in, Erie Tiger Network, here live from the Jen Realty broadcast booth. A little look down there on the field for this one, a little look up top. Man, we are just pumped to bring you this game here. We were lucky enough to put together a little bit of a season recap video for you. That was done by Ethan Dillinger, and I believe, Ethan, why don't you take it away?
So the Tigers started off their season, week 1 versus Hinckley, down at Hinckley. In this one, it was all Tigers from the get-go. From the opening kickoff on, Tigers were stopping the run, stopping the pass, doing everything that they could, putting points on the board any way that they could. And the final score of this game ended up being 64-16 as Blake Barnett and Caleb Theisen combined for 5 touchdowns. And the Tigers' defense, the D-line as well, stopping the run like they hope to do against Fruita this week. trying to keep them out of the end zone, trying to keep them from running between the tackles. As Caleb lays the guy out right there in that video. But yeah, this win against Hinckley, really dominating, really doing well. Caleb Theisen and Blake Barnett carrying the load for the offense. And that leads us into week 2, our first home game of the season, going up against Pueblo East. Student section was especially excited for this game. Ready to see the boys back in action at home. This game against Pueblo East went a little bit slow, as you might remember. Our broadcast crew included me, Mr. Bird, and a few others, as this entire game was just filled with penalties. So many flags flying all over the field, almost every play. Erie ended up coming out on top in this one, 29-7. They started to utilize the pass a little bit more in this game, but they also stayed true to their running game with Caleb. Once again, the Tigers defense forcing turnovers, stopping the run, stopping the pass, doing everything that Coach Geiger had mentioned in the interview, making sure that they stayed on top of things and put their offense back on the field. And there was a huge run there by Blake. I believe that was 60-plus yards. And that one leads us into the game against Bear Creek. This was one of the Tigers' closer games during the regular season, as in week 3. They won 39-21. And as you can see there, Blake hurdling a guy. That was one of the highlights of that game.
And, Ethan, when we talked to Coach Geiger, he pointed to this game. This is a game I felt like this is really where the Tigers clicked in for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they did a great job of dealing with a little bit of adversity. Bear Creek put up some points, but in the end, they still came out on top doing what they do, scoring points and keeping the other offense off the field.
You can almost say this was the first time and only time all season that they faced adversity.
Yeah, this was one of the only times. One of their closer games was against Brighton, but none of them really compare to the game against Bear Creek in a scoring perspective. And that leads us into week 4 against Longmont. Tigers were excited to be back at home again. And I believe they won this game by a score of 50-6.
Yeah, the interesting thing, Longmont, playoff winner. We'll talk a little bit about a special stat about Erie against playoff teams in this field. But Longmont was out without a lot of their key players, and so you kind of knew this was going to be the game. But either way, they still took care of business.
Yeah, the Tigers stayed true to their running game. As you can see right there, a big run once again from Caleb. That's a lot of the story of the season. Blake and Caleb breaking off huge runs, and then right when you least expect it, they'll throw a bomb through the air and catch the defense on their heels. That leads us into our next game. Week 5, we're at Skyline here.
And I thought the game at Skyline, Ethan, unlike any other game this season, the Tigers came out and from the opening whistle, they punched the other team in the mouth. It wasn't close from play 1.
Yeah, the Tigers with a commanding 49-0 win here. Just right from the first play of the game, watching on the Erie Tiger Network, you could see a first down for the Tigers, another first down, and then right before you knew it, Caden Lettuce was catching a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone from Blake. And their defense as well in Skyline's homecoming game, just shutting them down right from the very start, and that led to their 49-0 win.
Yeah, it almost seems like forever ago when that happened because this season has just whistled by, but, man, that was a dominating performance.
Tigers week 6 played against Silver Creek at home. As you can see here, the boys were getting hyped for the game. Everybody in the student section ready to go. Coaches hyping their players up. And Erie with just another really commanding win against Skyline here, having no trouble running the ball. Caleb, once again, story of the season, just running it down the defense's throats and then throwing the ball through the air right when the defense started to expect the run.
You know, I don't think they actually played their best football that day, and Coach Geiger mentioned that in our little pregame chat with him. But he said at halftime they just bought in and they came out, and that second half was huge for the Tigers.
And I think in that game, that's where you really saw the defense turn it on, was after halftime. They came out with obvious adjustments being made, and from that point on, they just turned it around. And their game after that, they played Brighton, at Brighton. A lot of people were looking to this game thinking this could be one of the Tigers' tougher games, but obviously the Tigers handled their business. One of their weeks where they gave up a couple more points than usual, but they still took care of business, got a 20-point win, 47-27 over the Bulldogs.
Yeah, there was a time in that game where it looked a little dicey defensively, but as soon as one of their top players went out, I can't remember his name, he's that receiver, their quarterback had no option to throw to, and that's when the error just kind of fell out of the game for Brighton. This was also the game we couldn't broadcast live, and Ethan, you were there with me. I've never been more frustrated. The coaches were frustrated. They couldn't get their play call headset system working either. So just, I think maybe a Bermuda Triangle of communications in that stadium. Couldn't even find Amelia Earhart in there.
And their next game, Greeley West. This was our first all-student-run broadcast of the year. A lot of fun to have there. I was calling play-by-play. Max Schrad was on color. And this was just a fun game to be at. Tigers absolutely dominant. First half, second half, you name it. They were just all over the place, flying around the field on defense, keeping the ball out of the receiver's hands. And, you know, Mr. Bird, they had absolutely no issues with just scoring points and having fun doing it.
Yeah, one interesting thing they did that game was they actually went under center, went from the I formation. They just want to, hey, let's give ourselves some practice at that in case we need that come playoff time. Really like that move by Coach Wooch.
And that led the Tigers into their next game, one of the most anticipated games of the year against Broomfield. Everybody was looking forward to this game. You know, everybody at Broomfield was telling Erie how they were going to win. Everybody at Erie was letting Broomfield know about how they were going to win, and Erie came out and just absolutely dominated. Broomfield offense had a little bit of the trouble on their side of the ball with getting snaps off and stuff like that, but the Erie defense took advantage, capitalized on their mistakes, and just made it their game from the very beginning.
Yeah, I know as an announcer I was probably more jacked up than I've been all season or maybe ever. The players in the building during the day, you could just sense the excitement for the chance to play Broomfield. I've never seen Erie wear all whites at home. You know, Broomfield actually, they moved the ball pretty well in Erie. And in some ways, I think they kind of showed the blueprint of how to stay in a game against Erie.
Yep, and that leads us into our next game. This was a highly anticipated game as well. Tigers on the field, ready to go. They're playing the Windsor Wizards, and everybody coming into this game, Tigers obviously 9-0, feeling good about their season. Wizards 4-5, having a little bit of a rough season, but the Tigers obviously didn't overthink it, didn't do anything. They just played their game, and they did exactly what they had to do from the beginning.
Yeah, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, but this game for Windsor, almost kind of a warm-up maybe for this game. We'll get into that in a little bit, but, man, they already took care of the league championship. They're able to rest some players, and this is a fresh team rolling into round number 2 here today. Thank you, Ethan, for putting together that season recap for us here on the Erie Tiger Network, and a huge thank you to Chad Jamison. Chad, we borrowed all of your video, so thank you for that, Chad. In fact, Chad tonight down on the sidelines giving us a little bit of taste every once in a while of some camera work down there. This isn't him, but you'll see some similar shots from down here throughout today. Well, the pregame will roll on. The Tigers, the Fruita Monument Wildcats will be set to kick off. We are about 20 minutes away from kickoff here at Tiger Stadium. Stick with us. We have plenty more pregame coming at you here on the Erie Tiger Network.
You know that feeling you get when your life is about to change? It's terrifying, sure, but isn't it exciting? You may not know with certainty what lies ahead, but that's what makes life, well, life. And even when the scene in the rear view is hard to leave behind, take a deep breath, hold on tight, and remember, there's no better way to move than forward.
Do you want a better smile, have a broken bracket, or are you a teenager in need of some braces? Then make your way down to Caraway Orthodontics. They are located in Louisville and Erie. Caraway Orthodontics supports Erie High School and its community. Come in and gain a beautiful smile for children, teens, and adults. They also provide Invisalign. Call this number 303-828-0454 or go to carawayortho.com.
Jeff Foxworthy here. You know, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Well, thing is, there's a lot more to say. Like if you've ever found yourself burning yard debris and then walking away, well, you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Do you have a plan in place for your family's future in the event something happens to you? Are you caring for aging parents, grandparents, or a loved one with special needs? The Germany law firm named 2017 Erie's Chamber Business of the Year provides expert legal guidance and peace of mind for you and your family in the areas of probate, elder law, and estate planning. Visit Germany Law Firm's Erie Village office or website at coelderlaw.net to set up a personalized consultation.
Sherry Bond is your hometown real estate expert who has passionately been helping people develop winning game plans for their home goals since 1994. Her offense and defense are bar none when it comes to negotiations. Sherry believes honesty and compassion are the keys to seller service. With hundreds of happy clients, you can be confident that when you are working with Sherry Bond, you are working with a team player that truly cares about you for life.
Have you ever wanted to support the Erie Tiger Network, the student media arm of Erie High School? Well, now you can. We have set up a Patreon page. It's a way for you to send us a monthly pledge in order to provide funding for the program, as well as get access to reward tiers. As a Tiger fan, you get the satisfaction in knowing you are helping out your favorite local media organization. As a member of the ETN fan club, you are officially recognized on air and can receive ETN goodies throughout the year. As an in-broadcast red sponsor, you get to sponsor a specific segment of any broadcast. For more information, email bird_brandon at sbbsd.org. This is a $25 per month commitment. As an appreciator of Erie's live broadcast with the weekly news, you can help support this program by becoming one of our patrons by going to bit.ly/ETN Patreon.
And welcome back in to our pregame show here on the Erie Tiger Network. Today's pregame show is brought to you by our Patreon. Sponsor us today. Takes a lot to get this off and running, and so we'd like to thank our Patreon sponsors who do this. They help us pay our playoff fees. They help us pay our wireless fees for when we go out and stream games out on the road, although that has been its own challenge this year. So if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/Erie Tiger Network. And so glad you could join back with us here in the Gen Realty broadcast booth. Gen Realty, proud sponsor of Erie Athletics. Jen has been an Erie resident specialist since 2005. Contact Jen today for all your local town real estate needs. By the way, we are broadcasting live out in Grand Junction and Fruita on the team. So glad that they could pick us up here tonight. That's 13:40 a.m. So guess what? We might try and call this a little bit more neutral tonight, but hey, they knew what they were getting into when they contracted out the Erie Tiger Network. But our friends out on the Western Slope, we will try to be as friendly as we can. In fact, the first thing that happened when the Grand Junction coaches got here, hey, you have a beautiful stadium. Well, shoot, you guys are just way too friendly. Hey, we were lucky enough to have our very own J.J. King catch up with Caleb Thyssen earlier this week. And here is what Caleb had to say.
touchdowns, and carries per game. Caleb Theisen has definitely been a role player on this team. He leads the team in rushing yards, touchdowns, and carries per game. He's definitely an electric player, and he's one of the leaders being a senior on this team.
Being a senior on this team is really fun. Obviously, it's my last time getting to do this, so just trying to make it as special as I can.
Caleb has had such a great season thanks to a great offensive line, as the Tigers have not been tackled for loss very much this year, as especially on their offensive line is John Pastore, who is committed to Kansas State.
I think in a positive way. Of course, Big John committed to K-State has helped a lot. I think he had a tough week, second week, but since then he's done really good. And then
Caleb trying to ride the momentum into playoffs. And from the Erie Tiger Network, my name is JJ King.
And welcome back in, Erie Tiger Network. Nice to catch up with and talk a little bit about Caleb Theisen and just the incredible season that him and the offensive line has had. All right, well, boys, let's break down this game here a little bit. JJ King, Ethan Dillinger with us. This is kind of the big moment here. We talk about what should we expect from tonight's game. Guess what? This Fruita Monument team, they are no slouch. They have run all over the place. In fact, if you take a look at kind of just the teams by the numbers here, you'll see that, well, this Erie passing attack, 198 passing attempts, only 97 for Fruita Monument. So Erie has more than doubled. And you got to remember that Erie has played in about 5-6 games with running clock where there was really not that many pass attempts for the last 20 minutes of game clock. 203 yards passing per game for Erie. Sorry about the typo there. 94.1 at passing yards per game by Fruita. The Tigers, 237 yards on the ground, 541 rushing attempts for Fruita, and they rush for 289 yards a game. So they are definitely a ground and pound team. They scored 347 points this year. The Tigers, they had scored 465 points. Guys, this Fruita team is no slouch. They knocked off Brighton last week 63-26. They beat a Mesa Ridge team that made the playoffs. They beat Pueblo West. They knocked off they played a tough game against Fountain Fort Carson. They lost 42-28 there. Really, though, you got to look at that Montrose game. Montrose, number 1 seed in the playoffs. They lost to Montrose by 4 points. So we looked at the film. We've talked with the coaches. I think, and we'll see it when we talk about our keys to the game, but when you break down this game, you got to stop the run. And so, Ethan, I know that's what some of the players said as well.
Yeah, this is going to sound really repetitive from us, but all the boys said, all everyone's been saying all week is this Fruita Monument rushing attack is just going to be all over the place. They're going to be running between the tackles. They're going to be doing everything they can to push the ball through Erie's defense, and Erie's got to be tough. They got to have their defensive line on point, and I think if they can do that, they're going to beat this team.
Now, JJ, we've seen this offense for Erie be multiple throughout the years, and obviously this game is going to come down to more than just how Erie's defense does. What do we need to see tonight out of Erie's offense?
Yeah, we just need to see what they've been doing all year long. Putting up points, putting up yards, and just keep momentum going. Don't let one bad play hold you back, which we haven't seen at all this year. But, they just need to keep the tempo going like they have been all year.
Yeah, and this Fruita Monument team, as we said, a huge rushing attack. One of the things for me, guys, is last week they played Brighton, and Brighton ran a 3-man front. And Coach Geiger came from Brighton last year, and he knows all of the personnel on that defensive side of the ball. They ran a three-man front like they did last year. And so when you look at those two things, you kind of got to feel like, hey, that's a little bit of an advantage for Erie, and in some ways that's a perfect storm because also the last game that the Tigers played were against a run-heavy team that like to bring things in tight in Windsor. So you got a warm-up for Fruita against Windsor. You got them playing Brighton last week. Coach Geiger knows their personnel. This feels too good to be true, but Ethan, as we know, you don't play games on paper. You don't play games. The prognosticators up in the press box don't play games. You got to go out and execute.
Yeah, I see it all too often where a team thinks they have an easy win. Just a prime example of it a couple weeks ago, number 2 Iowa getting taken down by Purdue at home. You know, they thought they had them on paper. They're supposed to win. Everybody thought Iowa was going to win, and Purdue came out and just took them down. So the Tigers can't get too comfortable, can't get cocky. They got to know that they got to stay in this game from start to finish.
All right, we are about 7 minutes away from the start of the game, and so now it is time to take a look at the games from around 4A. Thank you, Dylan Keck, for making this graphic. We got 7 of the 8 games being played are happening here tonight. Let's start with the number 1 seed, the Montrose Indians. They're taking on the Denver South Ravens. Ethan, who do you got?
I got Montrose in this one. I know it's going to sound like a basic pick, but if they keep trending the way they have been all year, I think they got the win tonight.
Yeah, me too. They're just too electric. They've had such a great season. I think they carry the momentum tonight.
Yeah, I think this one is a good matchup for Montrose, and they're a gritty team. All right, the Tigers, they took on the Golden Demons out of Golden. They take on Fountain Fort Carson. Who do you got in that one?
I'm going to take Fountain Fort Carson here just based on seeing Golden, seeing Fort Carson play. I think both teams have a good style of play, but I think Fort Carson takes this one.
Yeah, I got Fort Carson too. I think that Golden's defense just can't stop them, and they haven't been able to stop many teams this year, and I think it's another loss for them.
You know, I'm just going to be a contrarian and take Golden here. We got to have some upset here in the first round. I actually think Fountain Fort Carson is a heck of a team. They've been a good program for the past 2 decades. But why not? Let's throw the Golden Demons into round number 2. Our next game, it should be a really exciting one. Maybe the best matchup of the first round. You've got the Ponderosa Mustangs. They're taking on the Chatfield Chargers. Who do you got in that one, Ethan?
I'm taking the upset. I got Ponderosa in this one. They've just been too good this year. I don't see Chatfield stopping them. Already Chatfield with a close game against Dakota Ridge this year. Dakota Ridge is a great team, but I think facing the challenge, Chatfield's not there, and I'm taking Ponderosa in this one.
Yeah, Ethan and I, similar pathways. I got Ponderosa too, Just like what he said, Ponderosa's offense is just too electric for Chatfield, I think.
Ooh, this is where I differ from you. I'm taking Chatfield. They played tough against Dakota Ridge. They've had a tough road. I think they're a pretty good team. And 4A, they are top-heavy. I'm sticking with Chatfield. Hey, Dakota Ridge, we just talked about them taking on Longmont. We've seen Longmont. Real quick, Ethan, who do you got there?
I'm going to take Longmont in this one. The upset, all too often I've picked the higher-seeded team, NCAA. Men's basketball bracket never works out for me. I'm taking the Trojans.
I got Dakota Ridge. Their offense is just too good. We saw Longmont. Longmont couldn't stop us. I know that was without some of their players, but I still think Dakota Ridge is the better team.
I was actually surprised that Longmont beat Broomfield. I just was, and I got to go with Dakota Ridge here. I think the top 5 teams in the state, top maybe 7 teams in the state are a completely different class than the rest of the state. I just don't see that many upsets. All right, let's go to the bottom half of our games here. Palmer Ridge versus Pueblo West. Palmer Ridge versus Pueblo West. The Tigers get the winner of that. That's the only game, by the way, that's taking place tomorrow. Who you got, Ethan?
I got Palmer Ridge in that one. Just a good football program. We saw them a few years ago in the state championship back at 3A, and I got Palmer Ridge.
Yeah, I got Palmer Ridge too. They're just too electric. I think that they will have an easy ride into the quarters.
Yeah, I think we'll be heading down to Monument next week to take on Palmer Ridge. Let's go to the Vista Ridge Wolves as they take on the Loveland Red Wolves, so a matchup of a couple packs. And, well, who you got in that one, Ethan?
I'm taking Vista Ridge in this one. You know, two good teams. I'm still going to take Vista Ridge in this one.
Yeah, I got Vista Ridge over Loveland, another upset in my book. Vista Ridge just, Loveland just can't stop them.
Hey, you guys are wrong. It's going to be Loveland, and Loveland's going to win big. Real quick, there is a moment of silence, so we are also going to take a moment of silence. All right, boys, so there was a moment of silence. We'll actually talk a little bit about that moment in just a little bit. And actually, it is time for the national anthem, so we're a little bit behind in our broadcast here, but Allie Toothaker will be performing the national anthem. We'll go live to that now, presented by Gilmore Voice Studio.
See by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched, where so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang anthems bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, that was Allie Toothaker once again performing the national anthem, brought to you by Gilmore Voice Studio. And congrats to Gilmore Voice Studio. Several of Julien's students are making All-State for Erie Choir. We'll talk probably a little bit about that more later tonight. All right, couple more games on the docket. We were picking those real quick, boys. We'll have to make this quick. Pine Creek, they take on Bear Creek. We've seen Bear Creek. I'm a Pine Creek alum. I'm going Pine Creek big in this one.
Me as well. Mr. Bird's school's got to be great, right? I'm taking Pine Creek.
Yeah, I'm taking Pine Creek too. Bear Creek just couldn't stop us. I don't think they can stop anyone.
All right, boys, and our final pick tonight, it's the Erie Tigers as they take on these Fruita Monument Wildcats. Look, we're all seeing things through Erie-colored glasses for all of you Fruita fans tuning into the stream. It's hard for us to pick against Erie, so instead, I think we all know that we're going to pick Erie. What's the number one reason you think Erie will win?
Their defensive line going to stop the run of this Fruita Monument team.
Yeah, I think that their offense is too good. You know, no defense has been able to stop them. I think that we are just too good.
I'm with you, JJ. I just don't see anyone slowing down this offense. All right, so that's our pregame show for you here. By the way, real quick, some keys to the game. We've really already touched on all these. I think the Tigers, Ethan, they got to get off to a fast start. They got to stop the run, and don't panic. They have been in a close game all year. Cannot panic now. And so those are your keys to the game. All right, we are about ready to get set for kickoff here. The Tigers have huddled up one last time. And, well, it should be a fun one. Real quick, some starters here. Let's see if we have that ready for you. I know that we've got some starters for the Erie Tigers. Those are the offensive starters: Blake Barnett, Caleb Thyssen, Jalen Klickla, John Pastore, Caden Lettuce. Oop, a couple typos there. Look at the defensive starters here for this Fruita Monument team: Joe Shepardson, Randy Gallegos, Tanner Heldman, Jaron Street, Luke Bennett, Tyler Draper, Anthony Trujillo, Kaysen Stegmeicher, Daniel Thomason, and Peyton Nessler. And that is your lineups here for tonight. Brandon Bird here with you. So glad you could join us here at Tiger Stadium here in Erie, Colorado. But it is time for kickoff here, and it will be Erie receiving the kickoff. And we switched out our camera operator, and here is the kickoff. A low one, a bouncer. This one will roll, picked up by the Tigers, and that's big ol' Ryan McConnell. And for those of you that are visiting in from Fruita Monument, that is the starting center returning the kickoff. So welcome in, Gen Realty broadcast booth, by the way. Shout out to our listeners on the team. High school football on the team brought to you by Ken Richards State Farm Insurance. Call Ken for a quote at 970-243-1000. That is helping out. We got paid. This won't work until we restart the computer. So our whole operation's tanked right now until this happens. All right, sorry about that, folks. We vibrated around. All right, sorry about that, folks. We lost you. We lost our stream there for just a second, but we are back live here. First and 15 after a penalty. Tigers picked up a first down. There's another penalty right back. Erie gets Fruita Monument to jump offside, and so it'll be well, the scoreboard's showing first down. Is it second down there? Let's see here. See, we can also get our scoreboard graphic in. So second down and 10 to go here. Blake Barnett takes the snap. He'll roll to his left. Dumps off to Thyssen. Thyssen catches across the 50, the 40 into Fruita Monument territory and gets bumped out of bounds across the 50, or 30, I beg your pardon, down to the 28-yard line. So a first down here for Erie deep into Fruita Monument territory. So a good start here for the Erie offense. So first and 10 here for the Erie. Ball spotted at the 28. Far hash, handoff, left side. Little knife through the hole there by Trey Kana, and Kana across the 20, across up to the 16-yard line. That's enough for a first down yardage, and it is a fresh set of downs here for the Tigers. So first and 10 here for Erie. Ball spotted at the 16, far hash. Two wide, one to each side. Barnett in the shotgun here for the Tigers. Claps the hand. He'll keep it himself around the left side after a fake. Bursts through a hole, has the first down, heads toward the corner and scores! And Blake Barnett scores a touchdown a minute and 47 seconds into this first quarter, and the Tigers already have a lead. There is a penalty thrown back behind the play. And so first and 10 will now turn into first and 20, and the touchdown is wiped off the board after a hold is called. And so they'll back this one up, and so excuse all the excitement. By the way, if you're listening in Fruita, we apologize if we're getting a little quiet. Just a little bit of hiccups on our stream with our software. It crashed temporarily. We got it up. First and 12 now. They called that one actually 2 yards short of the line of scrimmage. Little screen pass right side to Nichols. Catches, bowls over the top of one defender, spins his way across the 10 and fights his way for a couple more yards over the right hash down to the 8-yard line. So on 1st and 12, he picked up 10 yards, and that'll bring up 2nd and 2 here for the Tigers. Tigers. Quickly to the line of scrimmage here. They have a tight set to the right side, a trio of receivers including Klickna, Nichols, and Oxiger. Thyssen behind Barnett. Fakes the pitch to Thyssen. Barnett takes himself, spins off a tackler, hurdles into the end zone for a touchdown. He jumped over a defender, hurdling, diving like Superman, and breaks the plane, and this time the Tigers score. And so 2.5 minutes into this one, 9:27 remaining here in the quarter. The Tigers lead it 6-0 here over the Wildcats. And now the Tigers will line up here for the extra point. They'll shift into the extra point formation. It will be Caleb Harner. There's the snap. The hold is good. The kick is up. And it is good by Harner. Tigers lead it 7-0. 9:27 remaining here in the first quarter play. We'll stick right here as the Tigers lead it. And our friends from Fruita, that's on the Carville Automart scoreboard. 7-0, 9:27 remaining here in quarter number 1. By the way, if it ever sounds weird, friends in Fruita, or actually at home, might slip in and out of radio or TV. They're called a little bit different, so I'll try not to get too weird with it. But the Tigers lead it here early after a great opening drive. They took the kickoff, and it was mostly on the ground. And that's a little bit of what we saw on film, that the Tigers might be able to run the ball with their potent rushing attack. Caleb Thyssen, Blake Barnett. Now the Tigers will kick this one off. By the way, on your radio dial, the Wildcats moving right to left, wearing their white uniforms, and the Tigers will dummy the onside kick. Now they'll back up, and they will send this one deep. And it will be Dom. And Ottavio will have his kick fielded at the 5. Weaving his way through traffic and spilling out to the 25, I believe, was Luke Shaneman. And that is where Fruita Monument will take over. So we'll see a lot of rushing here from Fruita Monument. Wyatt Sharp, you'll see Kaysen Stegmeyer, Corbin Rowell, all of those guys in the action here, and Fruita Monument will come out in the I formation. 2 tight, 1 wide out to the far side. Ball spotted at the 24-yard line. There's the snap, a handoff dive to the fullback, and he'll plow his way forward over the right side of the line for a pickup there of about 3 yards. That was Sharp on the carry. And that'll bring up 2nd and 6 here for the Wildcats. Rowell under center. Scans the defense, takes the snap. He'll hand it off again quick on the right side, and nowhere to go that time. The black shirts of the Erie Tigers. In fact, the Tigers came away with the ball. There's been no signal, but I don't believe that they actually forced a fumble. It was just John Pastore emerging, or actually that was Logan Gilmore that had the ball. Quick to the line of scrimmage now are the Wildcats. 3rd and 4. There's the snap, the option out to the right, and no, it was a give up the middle. Hard to see They very compact at the line of scrimmage, and it was a handoff up the middle to Wyatt Sharp, and he plowed his way for about 5 yards and a first down up to the 30. So 1st and 10 here for the Wildcats. Ball spotted at the far hash. Quickly to the line of scrimmage now. Go the Wildcats in the tight formation. Split back. They'll hand it off to one of the running backs coming from the right side. Knifes his way to the left over the tackle, and he'll juke his way forward and finally be lassoed after a pickup there of about 7. That was Stegelmeyer on the carry. And they're quickly to the line again. Fruita Monument wasting no time. 2nd and a long 3 here. Rowell hands it off to the up man up the middle, and he fumbled the football, and I think the Tigers jumped on it. He was stood up at the 50, and someone punched the ball out, and the Tigers jump on it, and they recover, and they have 1st and 10 at the Fruita Monument 49. So 1st and 10 for the, threw it over the wrong shoulder and it kind of sailed on him. He was trying to hook up with Caden Lettuce on a little bit of trickery. First time we've seen that all year, and that will fall incomplete and brings up a 2nd and 10. So 2nd and 10 here on the Fruita 49. Ball spotted between the hashes. Barnett, Tiger quarterback, adjusting the play at the line of scrimmage. Barnett claps the hands, takes the snap, hands it off. Thyssen, big hole on the left side, breaks a tackle, stiff arms a man. He has room for a first down, then finally got ridden down across the 40.
It's not working. There's nothing. Well, yeah, it's because it's too far. There's nothing I can. It's okay. We've done one camera all year. Okay. So I just wanted to let you know.
Ball placed on the 40-yard line of the offense. First and 15.
All right, sorry about that, folks. We keep going down. It's not the service. It's actually our computer just keeps, I don't know if it's a bad power line or what's going on, but it just keeps restarting. So we apologize for that. Good grief. So second, by the way, the Tigers scored, but it was called back while we crashed there for a second. And so now it'll be, what will it be? We're looking for the down and distance. I think there's actually another penalty, and it's another hold on Erie. So a hold on Erie. And that'll back Erie up. It'll now be what was 1st and 15 at the Fruita 42. And now it's going to be 1st and it looks like about 25 on the Erie 48. So all the way back into Erie territory. Barnett will clap the hands. He'll roll to his right, looks for the screen pass back the other way. It's Trey Kana, has it across the 50, the 40. He's got a convoy of blockers down the sideline, has the first down across the 20, knifes his way to the 10, finally gets stacked up by a slew of white jerseys. And a huge gain there for the Tigers, a gain of almost 40 yards from the Tiger 48 down to the 10. And Erie quickly to the line of scrimmage. They'll mark that at the 8, so a 40-yard pickup through the air. Tigers knocking on the door. 1st and goal from the 10. Handoff, Kana, left side, squirts through a hole, dives for the end zone, and he is just a little bit short. They'll say the knee hit down on the 1. And so the Tigers quickly to the line again, trying to get set. Barnett under center. Takes the snap, sneaks it left side, pinballs his way into the end zone for a Tiger touchdown. And with 6:10 remaining here in the first quarter, the Tigers lead it 13-0. So just like that, Erie scores twice. And Erie will line up here for the extra point. By the way, no scoreboard right now, so we'll just give you the score. We're keeping it simple here so we don't crash again. Here's the snap. The hold is good. The kick is up, and it is good. And so the Tigers lead at 14-0. We will take a quick timeout here on the Erie Tiger Network.
Are you looking to buy or sell a new home? Jen McGurk, an experienced real estate agent serving Erie, Vista Ridge, and the surrounding Denver area. For years, Jen has assisted all types of buyers and sellers with their real estate needs. Give Jen a call today at 303-949-3331 or check out Jen Realty online at jenrealty.com.
Front Range Landfill puts all your needs in front of everything else. Front Range Landfill won Erie Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year Award, as well as being featured on national television. We are very proud of our facility and we welcome the opportunity to address your disposal needs. Our focus is on customer service. We strive to achieve easy and rapid.
And welcome back in, Erie Tiger Network. Brandon Bird here with you, Erie Tiger Network broadcast crew. And the Tigers will try an onside kick, and I think it was recovered by the upman. And what a heady play there by Jens Tobiasen. That one looked like it was going to be an Erie recovery for sure, and he just held his water, had 11 black jerseys bearing down upon him, and was able to scoop up the ball. And so a pretty good play there by the Wildcat player Tobiasen. And so good field position here for Fruita Monument. They'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 49. Under center now is Rowell. Double wing, he'll hand it off to one of the wings and just kind of slaloming his way through the defense. That time for the Wildcats was Stegemeyer. That'll bring up a 2nd and 6 after the 4-yard pickup. Rowell under center again. Scans the defense, takes the snap, hands it off on the dive, straight up the middle, pinballing his way off a defender across the 40 and gets slung down at the 39, call it the 34-yard line, is Wyatt Sharp. A good pickup there on 2nd down and a fresh set of downs for the Wildcats. Under center now, Rowell quickly to the line. Fruita, man, they are lightning fast here today. Handoff over the left side and a good gain of about 8 yards, just kind of riding the wave of blockers. And right now the Tigers having a little bit of trouble stopping this potent rushing attack from the Wildcats. Able to force a fumble on that first drive, but Fruita's kind of had their way here running the ball. Rowell on 2nd and 2. Ball spotted between the hashes. Double tight, double wing, handoff. No, he'll keep it himself. Right side as he booted out to the right. Kind of ran into a couple Tigers, and he was hit and knocked down right at the marker. It'll depend on the spot here. And the far sideline official, nope, they're saying 1st down. So 1st and 10 now for Fruita Monument on the Tiger 24-yard line. Rowell under center. He'll take the snap, gives it to the dive man. Almost like the triple option, and it's a handoff to the fullback. That time, though, it was Stegemeyer, and Stegemeyer leans his way forward. Good, tough running there for 5 yards up to the 20-yard line. It's about a 4-yard pickup. It'll bring up 2nd and 6. Quickly the line. Rowell under center again. He'll hand it off right side. Stegemeyer this time runs into a wall of black jerseys. And did he fumble? The Tiger sideline is pointing like the ball fell on the turf. But the official saying that Fruita still has the ball. So it'll be 3rd down. No gain on that play. So maybe a gain of about a yard actually when it was all said and done. So 3rd and a short 5. Quick huddle, sugar huddle there for the Wildcats. Rowell under center. The deep knee bend, the split back. He'll hand it off to the dive man and a good pickup. They needed about 5. They got 6 all the way down inside of the 15 down to about the 13-yard line. And Fruita Monument continues to roll here on this opening drive. 3:33 remaining here in the first quarter. Second drive of the game, rather, for Fruita Monument. Rowell takes the snap, hands it off right up the gut, and the Tigers kind of collapse down defensively. And guess what? You're watching the Erie Tiger Network, folks. We are an Erie broadcast crew from Erie, Colorado. Just mentioning that. A couple of people getting snippy in the stream talking about our bias. Yeah, we don't pretend to not be, but this is the Erie Tiger Network. But we are happy to be picked up from Grand Junction by our Fruita friends on the team. 2nd and 8. Little handoff over the right side, and not much going there. Actually, a decent pickup all in all. Initially, it looked like the ball carrier was stopped after a couple-yard gain and just kind of rode the wave. So 3rd and 3 here from the 6. Fruita Monument knocking on the door. Rowell under center, hands off up the middle, big hole, and touchdown for the Wildcats. It was Wyatt Sharp, and he just kind of bulldozed his way over the right side and punched it in. And with 2:23 remaining here in quarter number 1, Fruita Monument has answered the call here. 14-6 the score. Now Fruita Monument lining up here for the extra point. And there is the kick, and it is up, and it is good. So 14-7 score here on the Carville Auto Mart scoreboard. High school football on the team brought to you by Ken Richards of State Farm Insurance. Call Ken for a quote at 907-243-1000. And that is us trying to help out our friends out in Fruita. Glad we could pick up this game for them. And the Tigers came out. They scored on their opening drive. They forced a fumble, scored again, and then Fruita, they churned out a long drive all the way down the Tigers' throat where they plunged into the end zone here with 2:23 remaining here in quarter number 1. So Fruita Monument will line up to kick off here. By the way, Tiger fans, don't forget to follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter at Erie Tiger Media, like the Erie Tiger Media Facebook page, or check us out online at erietiger.network.com. And here goes the kickoff. It's a poocher. This one has to be handled well, and it is, by one of the Erie upmen. So both teams kind of trying a little bit of a quasi-onside kick there. That was Logan Quinn that recovered that one for Erie. 2:22 left to go in the first quarter. A high-scoring first quarter of play here in Erie. So 1st and 10. Barnett in the shotgun. Trips to the wide side, or the near side. He'll hand off to Thyssen around the right side. Thyssen will plant his foot in the ground and then just pound his way across the 50. And a pickup there of 7 for Caleb on first down. And that'll bring up 2nd and 3. Now Barnett. Changes the play here at the line of scrimmage. 2 wide to each side for the Tigers. 2nd and 3 snap. Barnett drops, scans, still looking. Fires the deep out. It's clicked now across the 35 into Fruita territory. Across the 30. Breaks a tackle across the 20. And finally gets corralled out of bounds at the 16-yard line. So a first down for the Tigers on a big pass play from Blake Barnett to Jalen Klickna, and that was beautiful protection that time from the Tigers as Barnett had all day to throw. First and 10 here for the Tigers. Ball spotted at the far hash on the 16. Barnett claps the hands, pitches out wide to Thyssen. Thyssen trying to bend the corner. Thyssen following some blockers, and he gets lassoed around the ankles after a decent pickup there. He wasn't touched till he crossed the 10 and finally got dumped around the 7-yard line. They'll call it the 8, and that'll bring up second and short here for Erie. So second and short. Barnett in the shotgun. Barnett, 1:13 left here on the clock in the first quarter. Will switch the play. Thyssen will move to his left side. Barnett claps the hands, fakes it to him. Barnett takes it left side. He's got one man to beat for the end zone and gets pushed toward the pylon, reaches the ball across for a touchdown, and the Tigers score with 58 seconds left on a little 8-yard run there by Barnett. And Barnett got pushed, but he reached the ball across with his right hand and punched it into the end zone for a Tiger touchdown. And so with 58 seconds left in the first quarter, Erie leads Fruita Monument 20-7. Tigers will line up for the extra point in their usual, we might trick and go for 2 here. Now they'll shift back into a normal extra point formation. Harner set to kick the extra point here. Klickna the holder. The snap is good. The hold is good. The kick is up, and it is right down the middle. 21-7, 58 seconds remaining here in quarter number 1. We'll take a quick timeout here on the Erie Tiger Network.
Front Range Landfill puts all your needs in front of everything else. Front Range Landfill won Erie Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year Award, as well as being featured on national television. We are very proud of our facility, and we welcome the opportunity to address your disposal needs. Our focus is on customer service. We strive to achieve easy and rapid access in and out of the facility. We feel certain that we will exceed your expectations of your solid waste disposal requirements. Choose Front Range Landfill for all your landfill needs. You will be pleased.
And welcome back in Erie Tiger Network. 58 seconds left here in the first quarter. And the Tigers lead Fruita Monument 21-7. And Dom Dottavio will send this one deep, and this one is well struck, and that one lands 5 yards deep into the end zone for a touchback. Well, the Fruita Monument Wildcats, they came out, they fumbled in their opening possession. Erie turned that into a score, but they could not be stopped on possession number 2 as they just pecked away, as those power running teams do, gains of 6-7 yards at a time, all the way down the field till they punched into the end zone on a 6-yard run. So they'll start at 1st and 10 here from their own 20. Interesting, a power running team that runs hurry up the way that Fruita is running it. I mean, they are quick to the line of scrimmage. There's the snap, handoff over the right side, and then just kind of getting slung down to the turf after a decent game was Samuel Ontiverios. And Ontiverios will pick up about 6 yards. First time we have called his name tonight. I believe that was Ontiverios. We'll double check that. 2nd down and 4 here for the Wildcats. Quick snap, handoff to the dive man, and nowhere to run that time. Getting stacked up with Sharp, the sophomore. Sharp has rushed for 886 yards on the season and has had a good opening quarter here. 3rd and 2 here for the Wildcats. They're quickly to the line, double tight, the little double wing. Quarterback sneak and easily had it. The ball was spotted at the 29, and that picked up 6 yards on the quarterback sneak by Corbin Rowell. So roll. Y'all have to tune in on our chat. By the way, if you're listening, you can also watch while you listen on the radio out in Fruita. Go to youtube.com/Erie Tiger Network. That's going to do it for the first quarter play. At the end of one quarter, Erie leads Fruita 21-7. We'll be back after a timeout here on the Erie Tiger Network.
You know that feeling you get when your life is about to change? It's terrifying, sure, but isn't it exciting? You may not know with certainty what lies ahead, but that's what makes life, well, life. And even when the scene in the rear view is hard to leave behind, take a deep breath, hold on tight, and remember, there's no better way to move.
Tiger Network, and welcome back in, Erie Tiger Network. Start of quarter number 2. We'll switch sides, and Fruita will be going left to right. Rowell under center, split back, double tight end. He'll kind of run the veer almost, and nothing happening that time. Tigers defended that well. I think that was Big John Pastore out there, the Kansas State Wildcats, so the future Wildcat making a play there against the Wildcats. On first down, that'll bring up 2nd and 9. Ball spotted at the 36 at the far hash here for Fruita. Now Fruita slowing down the pace just a little bit here in this quarter. Rowell under center. He'll fake one way. Scissor action, and the Tigers penetrate, and they drop the Wildcats for a loss of 1, maybe 2 on the play. I think that was Logan Gilmore, or no, that was John Pastore that got on there. Now the Wildcats quickly to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 here for Fruita. Hard count. Now Rowell resets. Takes the snap. Gives it on the dive, and nothing happened, and the Tiger defense showed up that series. A pickup there of only about 3 on the play, and that'll bring up 4th and 6 here for Fruita. I think that was Wyatt Sharp on the carry. And Erie has their defense in like Fruita is going to go for it here. We have yet to see Fruita throw the football here in this one. 10:19 remaining. That might end right here, folks. Rowell under center. They're going for it. He'll snap the ball, runs play action boot to the right, throws it deep, and it is beyond the outstretched hands of Peyton Nessler. His intended receiver falls incomplete, and a turnover on downs there for the Wildcats, and Erie will have excellent position, or field position, on the Fruita 39. So Erie will come out on offense. They lead at 21-7, 10:04 remaining here on the Carville Automart scoreboard. So Barnett will come out with Thyssen flanking him in the shotgun. Trips to the near side. Ball spotted on the far hash. He'll take the snap, rolls to his left, looks downfield, pivots, now scrambles to his right, throws it away, and throws it past the first down marker, but he may have run back into the tackle box when he threw that away. There was not a receiver in sight. The official grabbing for the flag, and he'll throw it, and that'll be intentional grounding on the Tigers. So Barnett was flush back, and he was being tracked down nicely. Usually it's pretty hard to bring down Blake Barnett back there, but he had to get rid of it as he had pressure in his face, and the intentional grounding will make that 2nd and long. The Tiger fans don't like it, but there was not a receiver for miles. In fact, I think the closest receiver was somewhere back in Glenwood, closer to Fruita. So 2nd down and real long. I mean, that's a spot foul plus yardage. So it's 2nd and a good 26 yards here for the Tigers. Ball spot at their own 45. Barnett claps the hands. He'll ride the read option, keeps it himself, and he gets slung down behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of 1, and a great tackle shooting in there was Tyler Draper, and he got the tackle there on Blake Barnett, and now it's 3rd and a mile. Tiger offense looking to the sideline. If you're Coach Wooch, what do you dial up here on 3rd and forever? Ball spotted close to the near hash at the Tiger 44. He's got trips to the far side of the field. Single wide out down here. Barnett pointing out protection. Now he'll take the snap, drops back to pass. Looking. He'll be flush from the pocket. He's going to keep it himself. He'll run across the 50 and just kind of leans his way forward and bulldozes a man. But after a 10-yard pickup for Blake, he is still well short. It was 3rd and 27. And so that'll bring up 4th and 17 here for the Tigers. And after excellent field position, the Tigers were stuck in reverse there on that drive. So they'll send out Harner and the punt crew here for Erie. Harner standing with his heels on the 40. Deep man returning this, I believe, is Peyton Nessler for the Wildcats. It's a fake. It's Ryan McConnell. He got the direct snap, runs over the right side, still on his feet, breaks the tackle across the 30, and he picks up the first down. He had to get to the 28. They snapped it to Ryan McConnell, and McConnell with a huge gain from the 46 all the way across the 30 down to the 26. A 20-yard pickup on 4th and 17, and the Tigers get a first down with 8:59 remaining here in the first half. So the offense will head back out there for the Tigers. Did not expect the fake punt there. It looked like Fruita was ready, just good blocking, and now Fruita will call a timeout. So a timeout on the field. We'll stick right here. A couple of things for you here, Tiger fans, that I promised some very important district personnel that would happen. As, let's see here. There's a theater event happening tomorrow in Longmont. All together now, 2 performances Saturday. Buy tickets online or scan the QR code at the door. 3 and 7 p.m. at Longmont High School. Collaborative performance between Erie, Frederick, Longmont, Skyline, and 100% of the proceeds benefit their theater programs. Songs from Les Mis, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Mamma Mia, and more. And, well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We already talked a little bit about some all-state singers when we brought up Gilmore Voice Studio early. You saw a little preview there. 1st and 10, though, for the Tigers. 8:43 remaining. Barnett hands it off to Thyssen, who juggled it as he crossed the line of scrimmage, able to re-haul it in, and gets tackled after a pickup of a couple down to the 21-yard line. So 2nd and 8 here for Erie. Trips to the near side. Single wide out up top. Thyssen behind Barnett in the pistol. Barnett takes the snap, throws a screen, and bounced it. And that went behind Gage Nichols. And the official saying, no, that went forward. Nichols popped up like he threw it backward. Barnett reacted like he threw it backward, but the far sideline official said, no, that was a forward incomplete pass. And luckily for the Tigers, that was called incomplete, and that ended up saving them what would have been a loss of about 10 yards. So an incomplete pass, that'll bring up 3rd down and 8 here for the Tigers. 3rd and 9 from the 21. Tigers have a trio of wideouts to the near side. Ball spotted at the far hash. Barnett scans the defense. Now he'll come up, checks the play at the line of scrimmage. Barnett claps his hands, looks, fires the underneath route to Oxiger, and big Aiden Oxiger with a catch, but only picked up 6. The Tigers needed 8, and so that'll bring up 4th and 2. Now there's the snap, handoff, left side, Thyssen breaks the tackle, rumbling over the defense, and he will, still waiting for the signal. The official will come in and he scores. The umpire's the one that called it. So Thyssen on 4th and 2 punches it in from about 15 yards out, and Erie leads it 27-7 here with 7:35 remaining on the Carville Auto Mart scoreboard. So the Tigers will line up here for the extra point. They look like they might actually go for it. They will. Klickna gets it, runs it to his right, leans it forward across the line. Yes! And he gets the 2-point conversion with 7:35 left. The Tigers lead it 29-7. Well, Tiger fans, before we send it out to commercial, we wanted to give a shout out with heavy hearts. The Tigers lost one of their own. Cole Rademacher passed away last week in a car accident. And our hearts certainly go out with the family. There was a moment of silence before the game. We wanted to make sure that we had talked about it. And if you remember Cole, just a gritty athlete, motor that never stopped. And Cole, we will miss you. And may you rest in peace. Cole Rademacher. Well, welcome back in, Erie Tiger Network. 29-7 lead here for Erie. Wanted to work that tribute in for Cole as we continue our game here in this 4A second round. We'll have some scores coming at you here from round 4A in a little bit as this hot kick is sent high end over in and deep into the end zone for a touchback from Dom. Almost all the 4A games being played tonight. 7 of the 8 being played. The only one taking place tomorrow is Palmer Ridge as they take on Pueblo West. That will be a 1:30 kickoff, I believe. The other 7 games all happening tonight. 1st and 10 here for the Wildcats as they come out on offense after the touchback. Rowell under center. He's got a split back double tight. Now he'll try and give it on the little misdirection kind of reverse, and the Tigers saw that and just devoured it, and I couldn't quite tell. I think that was Logan Gilmore that got in there for the stop. Gilly, as Josh Randolph calls him, the starting defensive tackle, he had quite the week. He was announced that he made All-State Choir this week, and so Logan Gilmore starting as your defensive tackle for the Tigers, also an All-State Choir singer. Now the snap quickly, bent around the left side, weaving his way through traffic is Stegemeyer, and Stegemeyer will lean it forward, a decent gain, a pickup there as he spills across the 25 to the 26 for 6 yards. That'll bring up 3rd and 4. So 3rd and 4 here. Slowly now are the Wildcats. They've really slowed their pace. Rowell will sneak it on 3rd and 4, and he'll get 5 and has enough for the first down across the 30 to the 31. Just a snap, barreled his way over the left side, and good blocking again. This offensive line is solid here for the Wildcats. So 1st and 10 here for Fruita. Double tight, triple tight, or double tight, triple wing really here for the Wildcats. Another sneak, and Rowell on 1st down will just kind of inch his way forward, a pickup there of about 4 yards up to the 35. Now they'll mark it between the 34 and the 35, and that'll bring up 2nd and 7. This high school football on the team is brought to you by Ken Richards State Farm's Insurance. Call Ken for a quote at 970-243-1000. 2nd and 7. There's the snap, the give on the little power run over the right side. And that will bring up a 3rd down, and Erie wants to call a timeout. So Coach Geiger calling a timeout. We mentioned Logan Gilmore making All-State choir, and if you are the Erie Tigers, well, here, take a look at that. Here on youtube.com/Erie Tiger Network. If you're listening out in Fruita, you can also watch us here. And there's your All-State, 13 All-State choir students for the Erie Tigers. Grace Roberry, Zach Rushak, Dario Hinojosa, he's an Erie Tiger Network student. Jackson Pace, Logan Gilmore, as we mentioned, Sophia Winter, Angie Torres, Anna Dunn, Caroline Chudley, Lexi Schindler, Sailor Russ, Aria Pickett, Grace Roberry, and Sophie Fenster. How about that lineup there for Erie? In fact, we should also mention All-State Jazz. Grace Roberry made that. That's why she's on there twice. Jazz completely different. That is a tough one to make, so congrats to Grace Roberry on making both All-State choir and All-State Jazz. She was also our Erie Idol. You saw that on the Erie Tiger Network about a month ago. All right, 5:11 remaining here in the first half of play. The Tigers lead Fruita Monument 29-7. Rowell under center. Takes the snap. He'll hand it off to the dive man, kind of like the fullback, and that was going nowhere. And on 3rd and short, the Tigers stop him after a gain of 1. That was Stegemeyer, the junior. And so I think if you're Fruita, you just got to go for it. You're down big here. Erie's offense is potent. You got to end every possession, I think, in points. At least that's got to be the mentality here. So Fruita is going to go for it here on 4th and a long one. The ball spotted inside of the 40. They got to get just to the 41. Rowell under center. He's going to hand it off, almost fumbling that one, but able to squeeze his way to his left into the arms of Gavin Malik was Wyatt Sharp, and he picked up 5 yards and a 1st down. So ball spotted at the far hash. 1st and 10 here for the Wildcats. Rowell will come out under center. This time a wide receiver on the far side of the field. We've seen one throw tonight from the Wildcats. There's a sweep, and the Tigers again. Defensively, they're starting to bow their necks a little bit. And stopping that one was Gavin Malik, and Malik makes the tackle after a gain of 1 on the carry by Stegemeyer. So 2nd and 9 here. Little scissor action, rolling. Here's the pass, and it's caught across the 30, and then being dragged down by Thyssen is the Fruita Monument receiver as he crossed the 20 down to the 18, and the big fella, I believe that was William Jones, that went up and snared that on the 2nd pass play of the night, and it's a big one there for the Wildcats as they're now inside the red zone. Ball spotted at the 17. 3.5 minutes remaining. Tigers lead it 29-7. Fruita Monument checking in with the sideline here. Corbin Rowell will come back in after checking in over there with Coach Ross. Rowell under center. He's got double tight. I formation this time behind him. Rowan hands it off. No, he'll keep it himself. He faked it to the fullback and then turned around, and there was nothing but black jerseys in his face, including big John Pastore in there for the Tigers, along with Jackson Kogel. They'll actually give him a yard, and that just shows you how good of a push that offensive line had, because it seemed like he was in the backfield, turned around, and the Tigers were there. But we've seen good push, and we saw that on film last week against Brighton. This Fruita team just had their way with that Brighton defensive front. Now 2nd and 9 here for Fruita. I formation. 2 tight ends. Ball spot at the far hash. Hand off to the fullback, and a big collision. Ryan McConnell came up, and he gave Sharp a pop. And a pickup there of about 3, though, before they met face-to-face. That'll bring up 3rd and 6 here for the Wildcats. Rowell will come out. Checks in now with the sideline. Barks the play at the line of scrimmage. Tiger defense collapsing in. There's the snap, the handoff, left side. Almost like a little counter play and just kind of weaving his way forward, a pickup of about 5 yards. That's good. They needed 6.5, and they're going to be 1.5 yards short are the Wildcats. And a timeout is called by Erie. So they want to talk about this on the 4th and short. While we have a timeout, let's talk about some of the scores from around the area. Montrose leading big over Denver South, 35-6. That's at the start of the 3rd quarter. Fountain Fort Carson currently leading Golden 28-0. Longmont, they trailed Dakota Ridge. That one early in the 2nd quarter, 14-8, so a pretty tight one there. Pine Creek up big right now in the 2nd quarter, 20-0 over Bear Creek. And Loveland, they are up 19-6 over Vista Ridge. That one's in the 2nd quarter. Well, and if you watched our pregame show, Ethan, our producer here tonight, trying to gloat, saying he called the Fountain Fort Carson victory. I was just trying to, I believe for that one I said I'd be contrarian. But that's a pretty good matchup there in the 1st round. 4th and a long one, or a short 2 here for the Wildcats. Ball spotted at the far hash, just inside the 10. Rowell under center. He's got a split back lineup formation behind him. Tries to go to his left side, and he squeaked out of the arms of Logan Gilmore. Logan Gilmore had him and just couldn't haul him down behind the line of scrimmage, and he just slipped his way forward for the 1st down. So 1st and goal from the 7 here for the Wildcats. We'll call it the 6. 1:48 remaining here in the 1st half of play. This drive has eaten up a big chunk of this quarter. Rowell scans, gets under center. Ball is snapped, hands it off left side, and that was Stegemeyer, and Stegemeyer just kind of hopped his way through the hole, knifed his way sideways, and he picked up about 3 yards down to the 3. 2nd and goal from the 3 now. They got to go a little bit quick here. Only 1:14 remaining here for the Wildcats. Rowell under center. Takes the snap, hands it off to the fullback who gets stacked up right as he was approaching the goal line. They'll call him down at the 1. And so 3rd and goal here. And Fruita checking the time on the scoreboard, 48 seconds and counting. They'll walk up to the line of scrimmage. Rowell under center again. He'll sneak it himself, tries to reach the ball across the goal line. There's no signal yet. That's going to be awful close. There's still no signal. 30 seconds and counting, and the officials say it's 4th down, that he was just an eyelash short. So 4th down, the clock runs here, 20 seconds and counting. The Tiger fans getting into this one. And a pretty good showing from the Fruita crowd. That is a long drive, but the visitor stand's pretty full here. 5 seconds left, and so Fruita is going to call a timeout with 5 seconds left. No, 3 seconds on the scoreboard left. Tiger fans, this game is brought to you by 3M Farms. Who's excited for the upcoming holidays? 3M Farms, Erie's own nursery and gardening center, will have fresh-cut Christmas trees, wreaths and garland beginning the day after Thanksgiving to help you get into the holiday spirit. Follow them on Facebook at 3M Farms Erie for all your holiday hours and special events, including a visit by Santa. 3M Farms, a proud supporter of the Erie Tiger Network. So, big moment here for this Fruita team. At this point, it just feels like they have to punch this in to keep this one a game. They will get the ball to start the 2nd half. Tiger fans on their feet. Big moment here in this one. 4th and goal. you can't commit a penalty if you're Fruita either, because that will end the half. They'll come up quickly to the line of scrimmage after they break the huddle. Rowell takes it, hands it off right side, pinballs off a player and bounces into the end zone for a Fruita touchdown. And that time it was Wyatt Sharp who just walked into the end zone after pinballing off the back of his own player, and he punches it into the end zone for a Fruita touchdown, and it's 29-13 as time expires here in the first half. So they'll kick the extra point, and that's exactly what you needed if you're Fruita, because now you get the ball coming out of the locker room in the second half, and so suddenly it's a game, and that's why so much hinged on that play. The snap is good. The kick is up, just squeaks in the left upright, and it is 29-14. Well, usually, folks, we have the halftime show here. I know some of you dying to see the Dancer Pomps team perform. Because we have had some computer issues, you're going to see the stream freeze here for a little bit on the halftime show. We are just resetting our system so that everything is good to go for the second half, because we want to bring you multi-camera. We want to bring you instant replay. We want to have a scoreboard graphic. So guess what? We are going to freeze the stream. Just know that we'll be right back here on the Erie Tiger Network. All right, everybody. Welcome back into our stream. Guess what? We got things back up and running. We cannot play the music for the dance team in this broadcast. That has the potential to take down our stream because of copyright music issues. So just wanted to let you know there. Well, it was a crazy first half. The Tigers, they got the ball. They drove down the field. They scored. They got called back to a penalty, but they punched in the end zone again. Fruita Monument was driving, and then guess what? They fumbled as they crossed midfield. The Tigers picked it up. Then they punched it back into the end zone. Then Fruita Monument, they went quick, but they just rammed it right down Erie's throat. They were able to score quickly. That one at the time made it 14-7. Then Fruita Monument kicked it back off to Erie, and Erie just marched right back down the field and punched it into the end zone. At that time, it was 21-7. Fruita Monument, they had to convert a couple of fourth downs, including a 4th and goal from the one with 3 seconds left. They punched that in, and they'll get the ball back to start half number 2, but they currently trail 29-14 here to Erie here at halftime. This halftime is brought to you by Teachers Who Tutor. Teachers Who Tutor is a tutor or a teacher-created company located in Erie. They tutor students K through 12 in all subject areas. Teachers Who Tutor finds the perfect tutor to match your child's needs, whether you're trying to get your kiddo up to grade level, extend their learning, or prep for the SAT. They're here for you. Contact them today at teacherswhotutor.biz. Well, Tiger fans, we're trying to catch our breath here. It was a wild little ride there right as we started the game. I think our computer's a little bit sensitive in some of the power overlays. We're trying to get that fixed and figure that out, but it caused our system to crash, and we needed to reset. and you lost the scoreboard. We went down a couple times, but we are back up, and we're glad you can be joining us, especially to those of you who are joining us out in Fruita in the Grand Junction area on the team. By the way, a special shout out. I personally have some family that is out in Grand Junction currently, and they're listening to this, and they are Fruita graduates. So wanted them to give a big shout out as, well, Marty Dana and Julie Dana listening out in Grand Junction. So how about that? I believe they are Fruita Wildcat class of 1983, I'm thinking. Don't exactly remember. I know Mrs. Bird told me, and all of a sudden, can't quite remember. I think that's close to the right date, but just wanted to give them a shout out as they are watching their Wildcats play out in Grand Junction. So a special shout out to them. So glad all of you Erie fans could join us again for this playoff game. We're going to take a timeout here, catch our breaths here on the Erie Tiger Network.
Are you looking to buy or sell a new home? Jen McGurk, an experienced real estate agent serving Erie, Vista Ridge, and the surrounding Denver area. For years, Jen has assisted all types of buyers and sellers with their real estate needs. Give Jen a call today at 303-949-3331 or check out Jen Realty online at jenrealty.com.
Front Range Landfill puts all your needs in front of everything else. Front Range Landfill won Erie Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year Award, as well as being featured on national television. We are very proud of our facility, and we welcome the opportunity to address your disposal needs. Our focus is on customer service. We strive to achieve easy and rapid access in and out of the facility. We feel certain that we will exceed your expectations of your solid waste disposal requirements. Choose Front Range Landfill for all your landfill needs. You will be pleased.
You know that feeling you get when your life is about to change? It's terrifying, sure, but isn't it exciting? You may not know with certainty what lies ahead, but that's what makes life, well, life. And even when the scene in the rear view is hard to leave behind, take a deep breath, hold on tight, and remember, there's no better way to move than forward.
Do you want a better smile, have a broken bracket, or are you a teenager in need of some braces? Then make your way down to Caraway Orthodontics. They are located in Louisville and Erie. Caraway Orthodontics supports Erie High School and its community. Come in and gain a beautiful smile for children, teens, and adults. They also provide Invisalign. Call this number, 303-828-0454, or go to carawayortho.com.
Jeff Foxworthy here. You know, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Well, thing is, there's a lot more to say. Like if you've ever found yourself burning yard debris and then walking away, well, you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Do you have a plan in place for your family's future in the event something happens to you? Are you caring for aging parents, grandparents, or a loved one with special needs? The Germany law firm named 2017 Erie's Chamber Business of the Year provides expert legal guidance and peace of mind for you and your family in the areas of probate, elder law, and estate planning. Visit Germany Law Firm's Erie Village office or website at coelderlaw.net to set up a personalized consultation.
Sherry Bond is your hometown real estate expert who has passionately been helping people develop winning game plans for their home goals since 1994. Her offense and defense are bar none when it comes to negotiations. Sherry believes honesty and compassion are the keys to seller service. With hundreds of happy clients, you can be confident that when you are working with Sherry Bond, you are working with a team player that truly cares about you for life.
Have you ever wanted to support the Erie Tiger Network, the student media arm of Erie High School? Well, now you can. We have set up a Patreon page. There's a way for you to send us a monthly pledge in order to provide funding for the program, as well get access to reward tiers. As a Tiger fan, you get the satisfaction in knowing you are helping out your favorite local media organization. As a member of the ETN fan club, you are officially recognized on air and can receive ETN goodies throughout the year. As an in-broadcast red sponsor, you get to sponsor a specific segment of any broadcast. For more information, email bird_brandon at sbbsd.org. This is a $25 per month commitment. As an appreciator of Erie's live broadcast of the weekly news, you can help support this program by becoming one of our patrons by going to bit.ly/ETN Patreon.
You are watching the ETN.
Welcome back in, Erie Tiger Network. Halftime here on the Erie Tiger Network. So glad you could join us here as there's about 30 seconds left before the warm-up at least here on the ETN. And, well, let's take a look at some scores from around the state here at halftime while we have just a little bit of time. We don't have the scoreboards live on our graphic, but you can kind of follow along. If I believe we have the scoreboard graphic up here somewhere, so we're kind of having to hunt around for it. There we go. That's what's happening around the state. Montrose currently beating Denver South 35-6 early in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, Fountain Fort Carson, they're up 4 touchdowns, 28-0 over Golden. Dakota Ridge, they lead Longmont. That one in the second quarter, 14-8 still. And, well, we had a Ponderosa Chatfield score, I thought. Maybe not. We'll have to check the Twitter sphere for that one. Pine Creek up big over Bear Creek, 34-0. That one's still in the first half. And at halftime, Loveland thumping Vista Ridge, 33-12. So those are your scores from around the state. By the way, we had an amazing graphic for you, and it has just disappeared. The Tigers against playoff teams were outscoring opponents at just an absolutely ridiculous rate coming into today. And so, because you kind of thought, well, you know, when you look at this Erie team, you kind of think, have they played anyone? But it turns out they've played about 7 different playoff teams, especially if you include Pueblo East. But get a test here against Fruita Monument. They were up 3 scores. Fruita scored before the end of the half, and they will get the ball back. We have seen both teams kick an onside kick here in this game. So who knows what we'll see to start the second half. We'll take one more quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have the second half. There's about a minute, 12 seconds left. That's for you, Tyler, out there in Grand Junction. Minute, 8 seconds left. We'll be back here on the Erie Tiger Network.
You are watching the ETN.
Kicking off the season celebrating 35 years of serving our local community. Whether you're a contractor or a homeowner with a do-it-yourself project. At Budget Home Supply, we value a more personal relationship with our customers. Hey, Ernest. Hey, Vern. Whether you have a project in your kitchen or bathroom, a new outside deck, or just some general home improvements, indoors or out, come on down to Budget Home Supply.
Just kicking live. And welcome back in, Erie Tiger Network. Brandon Bird here with you. Fruita Monument set to receive the kickoff here. Tigers going right to left on your radio dial. So glad you could join us. All of you fans out in Fruita, trying to be somewhat hospitable guests. Hey, guess what? If you're in the YouTube chat, clean it up, people. Clean it up. Let's be civil with each other. It's just a football game. All right, here we go. 12 minutes on the clock. We'll start quarter number 3. Dom Dotavio will send this one high into the night. Man, that's a heck of a kick. That one goes through the end zone and out the back for a touchback. And so Fruita Monument will start at 1st and 10 here. And you know,
Okay. Well, our system just crashed, so
I kind of wonder if it's that.
Game 4 on the field. Ball's on the 24-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, Tiger fans, probably karma from criticizing the chat or something, but our camera, I don't know if it was from the cold, has frozen up and gone down. And so right now, all we have for you is audio. Well, that's good if you're listening on the radio, but not good if you're video here watching on the Erie Tiger Network. We're working to get that back up. It's 2nd and 4, and that'll be 3rd and 2 now for Fruita at their Tiger 48. A pass play coming out of the timeout. And so that'll bring up 3rd and short. But you got to imagine this is 4-down territory if you are Fruita, because you got to score. Sneak over the right side, and that one is good enough for a first down. Needed 2, got 3. And so a fresh set of downs here for Fruita. First and 10 here for the Tigers, or excuse me, for the Wildcats. Rowell under center. Tigers almost look offside there. He'll take the snap, hand it off over the left side, and not much going on that run by Stegemeyer. So 2nd and 11 now from the 50. They'll actually say that was a loss of 1. (29-14). Tigers lead it. Sorry, folks, we are struggling. We are trying to reestablish our camera connection. And this is just maddening at this point. It's all run off our Ethernet system. And our Ethernet's fine, but because sometimes there's just little data issues, we've dumped video. So 3rd and 10 after 2 straight stops for Erie. If you're listening on the radio, we apologize. We're trying to manage our system in here. I'm a teacher that teaches a class, a broadcast class at Erie, so sometimes got to help the students troubleshoot. Here we go, 3rd and 10. 8:54 remaining. There's a handoff up the middle and not much going. A 2-yard pickup on 3rd and 10 for Fruita. Down to the Erie 47. And that'll make it 4th and long here for the Wildcats. And offside Erie. Not what the doctor ordered if you are the Erie Tigers. So 3rd down. Okay, goodness sakes. We have our video back. That's going to, let's just ride that the rest of the night. Handoff on 3rd and 6. And that's going to pick up 4 yards. And so now after the penalty, you got to do 3rd down again. Now it's 4th and about 1.5 here for the Wildcats. Rowell under center, split back. He's going to sneak it again, and the Tigers have had no answer on 4th and short for that sneak. And actually, that's going to be really close. And depending on the spot, he ran over the right side. I saw the lineman go forward. The quarterback was grabbed around the waist. And I think we're going to have a measurement here. From the far sideline where the down marker is, it looks like it's just inside the 40 or 39. This ball is on about the 39.5. From here, it looks like they're just a little bit short. This is going to be a close one, folks. If the down marker is right on the far side, he's going to be short. I don't know if that's the case. We'll have to stretch out the chain and see. And they're going to stretch this one out. The Crowd has fallen silent, and it is a turnover on downs. The Tigers stop the Wildcats, and they'll have the ball back with the nose of the football right there on the 40. Well, the back of the nose of the football is on the 40, and that'll be the front nose of the football for the Erie Tigers. And we hope that having this scoreboard back up doesn't tank our stream if you're watching on youtube.com/Erie Tiger Network. So 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Ball spotted at the 40-yard line. 7:45 remaining here in the third quarter. Barnett takes the shotgun snap, passes out on a screen pass to Gage Nichols. He'll weave his way and gets hit down to the turf at the 45. A good little 5-yard pickup there on first down for the Tigers in the pass game. Quickly to the line of scrimmage goes Erie. Barnett checking in with the sideline. Coach Wooch and the crew signaling in a play. Barnett has split wide to each side. And 2 men in the slot also on that. So trips to the right. Now he'll step up, fires the deep comeback route. That's Gage Nichols that came back and snatched it out of midair. It was a good pitch and catch there for the Tigers across midfield, across the 40, down to the 37-yard line. And a pickup there of 18 yards from Barnett to Nichols. So Fruita Monument must get a stop here. This Erie offense is potent. Barnett fakes the screen pass, hands it off. Thyssen, left side, bursts through a hole, breaks a tackle, shuttles a man down to the field, still on his feet, and bowls over a defender down to the 5-yard line. And Caleb Thyssen, who has had a phenomenal season, has a big run there for the Tigers all the way down to the 5. A pickup for Caleb of about 25 yards or so. Barnett in the shotgun. He's got 4 wide, 2 to each side. Hands off Thyssen. Breaks the tackle. Scoots his way across the goal line, and Erie scores with 6:24 remaining here in quarter number 3. The Tigers lead it 35-14 on your Carville Automart scoreboard. So the Tigers extending the lead. They got the stop and the touchdown. And, man, if you're a Fruita Monument, after you scored before the end of the half and you got the ball back, that is not how you scripted things up in the locker room. Now Harner will kick the extra point. Snap is good. Hold is good. The kick is up, and it is right between the pipes and Erie. They lead it 36-14 with 6:24 remaining here in quarter number 3. This game is brought to you by Worth Chiropractic. Be sure to check out Worth Chiropractic down there on Briggs Street. Zach Worth and the Worth Chiropractic team. Hey, did you know that they are certified Titleist Performance Institute technicians, or I don't know, what do you, chiropractors, I guess is, that's what they are. Check them out down there on Briggs Street. I know Worth Chiropractic, a huge supporter of Erie athletics. So 6:24 remaining here in quarter number 3. Erie leads Fruita Monument. (36-14) as they line up here to kick off. There's the kick, and this is high, end over end, and will be a touchback here for Fruita Monument. So they'll start 1st and 10 from their own 20. So 1st and 10 here for the Wildcats. Ball will be placed between the hashes. Radio coverage on the team is brought to you by Ken Richards, State Farm Insurance. Call Ken for a quote, 970-243-1000. Little screen pass out of the backfield, and the Tigers diagnosed that beautifully. That was Trey Kana that shedded his blocker and got up to stop that one right at the line of scrimmage. That was Peyton Nessler that caught that little swing pass. So 2nd and 10. Now play action, roll out pass again, and that one is at the feet of the intended target. That was William Jones. And now Fruita, seeing themselves behind by 3 scores on the scoreboard, trying to go to the air, and unsuccessful a couple times there. That'll bring up 3rd and 10 here for the Wildcats. Erie defense trying to adjust in the locker room. They've come out. They forced a turnover on downs, and now a 3rd and 10 on their own 20 for the Wildcats. And at this point, I still think if you're Fruita, with how potent Erie's offense is, you got to go for it on 4th down. So 4-down territory, really anywhere. Rowell under center. He'll run play action, looks, has a man down the field, fires, and well overshoots his intended target. That was intended for Luke Bennett. So 4th and 10 here, and I think Fruita is going to punt this one. 5:32 remaining here in the quarter. Fruita trails it 14-36 on the Carville Automart scoreboard. And now they will punt this. We saw a fake punt from Erie on 4th and 17 work. And here's a fake from Fruita. Tigers diagnosed initially, but good blocking, and oh, that's going to be right near the line to gain. They had to get to the 30, and the official marking them out at the 29, and that will be a turnover on downs, and the Erie offense will take over. And Erie was ready for the fake. It was well executed by the Fruita punt team, but you needed 10, you got 9, and a turnover on downs, and Erie will have the football in tremendous field position. So 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Barnett in the shotgun, ball spotted far hash. He'll run, read, keep it himself, and just kind of hops his way like one of those old-fashioned skip-its. You remember that as a kid, a skip-it? That's what Blake Barnett looked like, with a kid kind of tied around his ankle and hopped away and picked up 8 yards on the carry. So 2nd and 2 here for the Tigers. Pistol formation. Dyson behind Barnett, 2 wide out to each side. Ball spotted between the hashes on the 21 in Fruita territory. The Tigers driving up 36-14, 4:31 remaining. And that's going to be a delay of game. The Tigers took too long there. They were trying to change the play at the line of scrimmage. Time just kind of ran out. So 2nd and 7 here from the 26. Tigers kind of slowed down, even though the clock is stopped. Barnett claps the hands, takes the snap, pocket, rolls to his right, trying to throw the screen back to his left, and that was well read that time by the Fruita defense, and that fell at the feet of Aiden Oxiger. And so that'll bring up 3rd down. So 3rd and 7 here, 4:23 remaining. High school football on the team brought to you by Ken Richards, State Farm Insurance. Call Ken for a quote at 970-243-1000. We're helping our friends out in case you Tiger. And there's another penalty on Erie. They've really slowed down here. I don't know if there's communication issues, if they're trying to call plays from our streaming software, or what has going on. But there's a breakdown real quick out there on the field in terms of getting plays in. And so actually that penalty is going to be on Fruita. I didn't even see that. I thought that was an Erie penalty. So 3rd and 2 here for the Tigers. Barnett checks the play at the line. 4:22 remaining here in the 3rd. The sophomore takes the snap. He'll run read option, keeps it himself around the left side, has a blocker, and will step away from trouble. He had the 1st down and then some across the 20 down to the 16-yard line. Needed to get to the 19. And so he'll scoot out of bounds for a 1st down. So fresh set of downs here for the Tigers. They'll spot the ball officially at the near hash on the 15. So Tigers will come back out. 4:15 left on the clock. Clock stopped. This time the Tigers will come out with trips to the right, but they're tight, all within a yard of the tackle over there. Barnett claps the hands, pitches. Thyssen gets a kick-out block. Thyssen bends it to the 10, lowers the shoulder, and gets pelted out of bounds after a pickup of 9, maybe 10. He's really close to the down marker. The official looking, and they're going to say that he's just a whisker short, so a 9-yard pickup there for Thyssen. And that'll stop the clock again as he got out of bounds. Tigers knocking on the door here again. Approaching the 4-minute mark here of the 3rd quarter. Barnett in the pistol. Takes the snap, looks to his left, pumps, now fires the slant, and that goes in and out of the hands of Caden Lettuce. Caden shaking that left hand. Caden has he has had some fingers that have been busted up through the year. And so hoping when he's shaking his hand there, that's not another finger hand issue. 3rd and short here for Erie. Ball spotted at the 6. Barnett will keep it himself. He has a huge hole. You could have driven a truck through that hole as Barnett punches it across the goal line, and Erie scores again. And with 3:57 remaining here in the 3rd quarter, Erie leads Fruita Monument 42-14. Pending the extra point here. And starting to feel like Tiger games have felt all season long, where this offense is just so potent that if you're not perfect on the other side, it just seems like Erie can score at will. Harner on to kick the extra point. Snap is good, hold is good, kick is up, and it is good. 3:57 remaining here in the quarter. Erie leads at 43-14. We'll take a timeout here on the Erie Tiger Network.
Are you looking to buy or sell a new home? Jen McGurk, an experienced real estate agent serving Erie, Vista Ridge, and the surrounding Denver area. For years, Jen has assisted all types of buyers and sellers with their real estate needs. Give Jen a call today at 303-949-3331 or check out Jen Realty online at jenrealty.com.
Front Range Landfill puts all your needs in front of everything else. Front Range Landfill won Erie Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year Award as well as being featured on national television. We are very proud of our facility and we welcome the opportunity to address your disposal needs. Our focus is on customer service. We strive to achieve easy and rapid access in and out of the facility. We feel certain that we will exceed your expectations of your solid waste disposal requirements. Choose Front Range Landfill for all your landfill needs. You will be pleased.
Welcome back in, Erie Tiger Network. 3:57 remaining here in the quarter. And the Tigers kick it off, and that will be a touchback. So glad you could join us here tonight. Folks, we apologize for the couple of times we have dropped our stream. Trust me, nobody more frustrated than us. Complete headache. Almost feel like you got to start over from scratch every time. So, but we're happy to be here, and we have carried most of the game. And now Fruita will come out. So 1st and 10 here for the Wildcats. Handoff in the power I over the right side, and not a ton of running room. A pickup there of about 3, maybe 4 yards on the first down carry. And so now that'll bring up 2nd and 6. Rowell under center. Fakes the handoff, rolls the pocket, fires, hits a man downfield across the 30. It was a catch, then a fumble, and Erie picked it up. And no, the back judge is now coming up, and he is pounding the turf saying that was never caught. And then Coach Geiger going to get tagged with a personal foul call for chirping the official. And so you have an incomplete pass, but then you're going to tack on 15 yards for Fruita Monument on the personal foul. Now Josh Randolph checking into the game. Tigers thought it was a fumble, and clearly Coach Geiger did too. Oh, no, it's just a sideline warning. So they did not throw a personal foul flag. They just called a sideline warning. I just saw Coach Geiger out there, and the official kind of bumped near him, and so they call a sideline warning. Now on 3rd down, a pitch to the far side. It's strung out to the far sideline, and a loss of yardage there. They were trying to get it to the corner with Peyton Nessler. So 4th down coming here for Fruita, and in some ways now it feels like this Tiger defense has figured it out. And not only figured it out, but forcing Fruita to punt here. Fruita faked it last time. Both teams have faked a punt. Both teams have tried an onside kick, and this is a real punt this time. Thyssen back there. That's going to bounce at the 45. The Fruita up man touched it. Thyssen tried to pick it up after it was touched, but it will be downed, and they'll call it down at the 43-yard line. And that's where the Erie Tigers will take over First and 10 from the 43, and they lead it 43-14. 2:19 remaining left here on the Carville Automart scoreboard. NBC Grand Broadcasting, the team out in Fruita. That is who is simulcasting this on the radio out there. We're happy to do it. First and 10, Barnett takes the shotgun. Flush from the pocket, rolls back across the field to his right, gets spun out of bounds. He did cross the line of scrimmage, and he will pick up a couple yards. Tiger passing offense, they really hasn't been quite as potent tonight, but they haven't needed it. They have just run it down this Fruita defense's throat in the way I think that Fruita felt like they might be able to do to Erie. But you look at the Fruita D-line, there's a big size mismatch between the Fruita front and the Erie front, and Erie has just kind of shown that that is maybe the biggest mismatch of the game here. Barnett takes the shotgun pass, throws the out to Oxiger. Ox will stiff arm a man, stays on his feet, and tries to plow his way forward, but gets spun to the turf at the 49. That'll bring up third and short. Needed to get to the 46.5. And so that'll bring up third and about 2.5 here for the Tigers. Brandon Bird here with you, a full Erie Tiger Network crew. Some have been rendered a little bit useless. We don't have our normal replay system working because we don't want to have to restart everything again. Something rotten in Denmark there. I don't know if it's the replay system that's causing our thing to crash or what's going on, but bummer for that. But kids came, set up early. They've done a great job. Hand off Thyssen on third and short. Big hole on the left side across the 30. Still on his feet. Tacks back to his right across the 10, and he will score. Caleb Thyssen from 49 yards out. And the route is on here for Erie with 1:10 left in the first quarter. Erie leads it 49-14. And so Harner out to kick the extra point. And Tiger fans delighted to see this. And you got to feel for the Fruita faithful who took the 4.5 hour drive over the mountains. And it just, I believe now, 50-14 after the good extra point. The gap probably a little bit too wide. So we'll have seen some Fruita Monument players tonight play their last game. We'll try and give a shout out to the seniors for Fruita Monument. But man, what a performance on the ground from these Tigers tonight. You felt like they could establish themselves in the running game, and they have in a big way. By the way, full ETN crew here, as I mentioned. JJ King up top running our camera. Ethan Dillinger producing this event. Our replay operator, Spencer Blaylock, and Danae Shara as well. Our ETN news director also here to operate a camera. We had 3 cameras at the start. Shoot, our 45-minute pregame was as smooth as a close shave. Down to 1 camera. We do have a scoreboard up, though. 1:10 remaining here in the third quarter. And Dom DeTavio will send this one high into the Erie night sky and deep into the end zone for a Fruita touchback. And so Fruita will take it over 1st and 10 from their own 20. And the Erie defense, we said in the pregame show 50 times, you got to stop the run. And it wasn't until the second half that they figured out how to do it against this Fruita potent rushing attack. But they figured it out. So there's the snap, handoff over the right side, and just kind of plowing his way forward. Good gain of about 5 yards there was Kason Stegemeyer.
To the 25-yard line, brings up 2nd and 5.
Erie leads it here by 36. Now the quarterback, Rowe, will hand it off on the left side to Stegemeyer, and he'll lean his way forward, picks up about a couple before he's finally dragged down to the turf, and now I believe an Erie Tiger is shaken up on the play. Not quite sure who's down out there for the Tigers. 36 seconds left remaining here in the third quarter. Shaken up Tiger. We'll step aside, take a quick timeout here on the Erie Tiger Network.
Front Range Landfill puts all your needs in front of everything else. Front Range Landfill won Erie Chamber of Commerce Business of the Year Award, as well as being featured on national television. We are very proud of our facility, and we welcome the opportunity to address your disposal needs. Our focus is on customer service. We strive to achieve easy and rapid access in and out of the facility. We feel certain that we will exceed your expectations of your solid waste disposal requirements. Choose Front Range Landfill for all your landfill needs. You will be pleased.
You know that feeling you get when your life is about to change? It's terrifying, sure, but isn't it exciting? You may not know with certainty what lies ahead, but that's what makes life.
And welcome back in, Erie Tiger Network. It was Jet Cooper that was shaken up down there for the Tigers. They helped him off the field. And after we came back, Fruita Monument is going to let this clock run all the way down to the end of the quarter. So they're not even going to snap the ball here. There's 15 seconds left in the quarter, but they're just kind of standing around. I think they're just saying, hey, let's just regroup, take this to the quarter. So at the end of the third quarter, Erie leads it 50-14. We'll take a timeout here on the Erie Tiger Network.
You know that feeling you get when your life is about to change? It's terrifying, sure, but isn't it exciting? You may not know with certainty what lies ahead, but that's what makes life, well, life. And even when the scene in the rear view is hard to leave behind, take a deep breath, hold on tight, and remember, there's no better way to move than forward.
Do you want a better smile, have a broken bracket, or are you a teenager in need of some braces? Then make your way down to Caraway Orthodontics. They are located in Louisville and Erie. Caraway Orthodontics supports Erie High School and its community. Come in and gain a beautiful smile for children, teens, and adults. They also provide Invisalign. Call this number 303-828-0454 or go to carawayortho.com.
Jeff Foxworthy here. You know, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
And welcome back in, Erie Tiger Network. Start of quarter number 4, and it's 3rd and 3 here for Fruita Monument. Rowell steps over to the dual wide here on the near side to change the play. Now he'll throw the seam pass. Has a man that was hit down the seam. Big gain across the 50, across the 40, down inside the 30, all the way to the 26-yard line. And that was Luke Bennett on the quick hitter over the middle. And a big pickup there of about 48 yards for Fruita. So a good play to open the quarter there for the Wildcats. That'll bring up 1st and 10 and deep into Erie territory. Rowell under center, split back, ball spotted on the near hash. And the snap, well, there was like a whistle sound that came from the stands, and I thought the play was dead, and then getting dropped for a loss was Rowell. There was no whistle on the field. I don't know where that came from. I even looked at the press box. We all heard the same whistle. So that'll bring up 2nd and 10 after no gain there on the quarterback keeper. 11:09 remaining here in this contest. Erie leads at 50-14 here on the Carville Automart scoreboard. Rowell under center, sends a man in motion. Will hand it off and just plunging his way directly forward and just couldn't be stopped. Just kind of kept churning the legs, finding 1 yard here, 1 yard there was Wyatt Sharp and plowed his way forward through a mass of humanity for about 7 yards there. 6 yards. That'll bring up 3rd and 4 from the 19. Fruita, they ran hurry up in that first quarter, and they've kind of slowed it down, and I think it's maybe helped out Erie a little bit. I'm surprised they didn't stick with the high-tempo offense, especially down as much as they are right now. In some ways, I think kind of waving the white flag a little bit. Handoff left side, and Wyatt Sharp says, I'm not waving a white flag, and bounces off an Erie defender and stretches out a good run inside the 5. So a pickup there of about 14 yards for Sharp. They'll actually spot him out at the 6, and that'll be 1st and goal for Fruita. 10:04 remaining, 50-14. Erie leads, Fruita driving. They have the ball 1st and goal in the 6. We're broadcasting live here from the Gen Realty broadcast booth here at Tiger Stadium. Now Rowell will come out, I formation. 2 tight ends. Fumbles the snap and just had to hop on the football. A 2-yard loss. Rowell just never got the snap cleanly. Tried to hand it off and then just lost it. So now 2nd and goal from about the 8-yard line. .935 remaining here in the 4th quarter. A 36-point lead here for Erie. Under center now is Rowell. Will send a man in motion. Fakes it, keeps it himself right side, being chased by Oxiger. Now he looks, has just a ton of room in front of him, and he'll scamper into the end zone, and now penalty flags flying in after the touchdown as the teams kind of come together in the end zone, but a touchdown on the quarterback keeper there for the junior Corbin Rowell. And then some extracurricular, and I'm not sure who the penalty will be on, but the touchdown should count. Now the official will come over to talk with Coach Geiger. Which leads me to believe this is on Fruita Monument, unsportsmanlike, and it is on Fruita Monument. So that's why the official, I think he wanted to know how Coach Geiger wanted this penalty enforced. So with 9:14 left in the 4th quarter, Erie still leads it by 30 here. And Fruita, I think they want the penalty enforced on the kickoff. Which is unfortunate if you're Fruita, because right now you're kind of in onside kick mode. But now, onside kick, if Erie recovers, would be deep in Fruita territory. Fruita will go for 2 here. Split back formation. 3 tight ends. Now they'll send a man in motion. Play action. Rowell rolls to his right. Throws it. Intercepted in the end zone. And the Tigers will just kneel it and stop the 2-point conversion. 50-20, 9:14 remaining here on the Carville Auto Mart scoreboard. This game brought to you on the team, high school football on the team, out in Grand Junction, the Fruita area. Brought to you by Ken Richards of State Farm Insurance. Call Ken for a quote. That's 970-243-1000. Glad we were able to pick up this game for our friends out in Fruita. They were certainly kind guests here when they rolled in today. This will be the last game of the year for Fruita, barring a miracle. Peyton Nessler, Shanaman, Calvin Nykum, Tyler Draper, William Jones, Aiden Flores, Armani Trujillo, Samuel Ontiverios, Kyler Chisholm, Jens Tobiasen, Joseph Shepherdson, Jackson Winder, Joven Bugara Haro, Matthew Bennett, Levi Ross, all seniors playing their last game tonight here for Fruita Monument. Still 9-14. And the penalty will force Fruita to kick off from their own 25, so the Erie Hands team up around the 35. No one really all that deep for Erie. This is almost, there's so much room behind the deep man, you might consider kicking over their head and see if the coverage team can beat the last Erie returner down the field. Now Caleb Thyssen kind of backing off. It's got some football sense. Here is the onside, and I don't think that ever went 10 yards. Fruita says they recovered it. Now the question is, did Erie touch it before it went 10 yards? They were trying to wait. And the officials give the ball to Erie. So it never went 10 yards. And I don't know that an Erie Tiger touched it. Now the officials coming together and chatting, but Erie will have the ball at the 34. And now the official asking for a ball. 9:11 remaining here in this fourth quarter. Mason Kogel out there. Tigers have inserted Trey Rearick into the game. Now Ryan McConnell will trot in. Trey Kana, the running back. Rearick fires it out into the flat, and that's off the hand of Aiden Oxiger. Man, I always do that. It's Evan Rearick. Trey's the older brother. I'm assuming the parents do that all the time just because my mom did that with me and I didn't even have a brother. Just called me her own brother's name. So, what the heck? Now 2nd and 10 here for the Tigers. Rearick in the shotgun. Evan takes the snap. Being pressured, steps up in the pocket, and will finally be brought down from behind as the pressure got to him from behind him. And he'll be dropped for a sack of about 3. 8:15 counting here. Erie leads it 50-20 here in the second round playoff game. The winner will take on Pueblo West versus Palmer Ridge. And you kind of feel like a little bit of a date with destiny there for Erie. Obviously you can't play a game on paper, but man, Palmer Ridge such a good team this year. It just feels like Erie Palmer Ridge destined to be the matchup down in Monument next week. Fake. And another sack. Rear tried to step up in the pocket and just coming around the end and dropping him there for a sack that time was Jens Tobiasen. And so that'll bring up 4th and real long.
Ball on the 42-yard line. 4th and 18.
For those of you wondering why is Erie still throwing the ball, well, Evan Rearick, a really good quarterback. In fact, there are not too many programs in this state that have 2 quarterbacks like the Tigers do. So when they get the chance to run plays with Evan, they like to try and let him throw the ball, because I feel like Evan's a player that could certainly play college football. And he's not even starting on this Erie team. And now a delay of game call here for the Tigers. They will let that one run down and send on their punt team. 7:28 remaining, using up all the play clock there, and now they'll punt it back to Fruita. Ball will be spotted now at the Fruita 47 as Caleb Harner will come into punt. And Harner will send this one end over end. This one will bounce across the 20. A really good kick all the way down inside the 5, and the Tigers will down it at the 4. So Harner does his job, pins Fruita deep, and now with 7:16 left, down 30. Fruita will have to try and engineer a 95-yard drive.
So Fruita Monument will take over at the 5-yard line.
So 1st and 10 for Fruita. Ball spotted at the near hash. See what Fruita does here. Had that little quick hitter on the seam that picked up some chunk yardage last drive. All under center. Just one running back behind him. He'll just sneak it forward, and he'll pick up 6 yards there on the quarterback sneak. Tigers are happy to concede that as the clock will continue to roll here now under 7 minutes and counting. Tiger players starting to feel it down there on the sidelines. And I tell you what, next week's game, holy cow, that is going to be a good one. Snap. A handoff, and needed about 3.5 yards or so. Picked it up. Enough for a first down. That'll temporarily stop the clock as they set down to gain markers. Now the official will roll things. 6:27 and counting. 1st and 10 here for Fruita. Ball at their own 17. They trail it 50-20 here on the Carville Automart scoreboard. Snap. The give, and just kind of emerging from the pile, I think kind of running across the line of scrimmage and then bending it around to the left was Stegemeyer, and he picked up about 13 yards up to the 30. So 1st and 10 here for Fruita. Roll will come out. Everyone checks the armband. I formation behind him. Ball spot at the near hash. Handoff to the fullback in the I, and about a 4-yard pickup, maybe 5 there for Wyatt Sharp. So we'll be left with 4 teams next weekend, and 8 teams next weekend, going from 16 down to 8 in the quarterfinals. And man, the top 8 teams here in 4A, they are just so much better than the rest of the state. This year, 4A has been very top-heavy. Now Rowell will roll to his right, fires the deep pass, and overshoots his intended target, who was covered well that time by Trey Kana. Montrose knocked off Denver South 56-19. Fountain Fork Carson, they beat Golden 41-0. Right now at the start of the fourth quarter, Dakota Ridge rolling over Longmont 49-28. In the second quarter, at least last we checked, Chatfield was leading Ponderosa 10-0. And then Pine Creek leading Bear Creek, or beat Bear Creek rather. That one went final 41-7. And then Loveland up big over Vista Ridge 41-12. Now Roll will take the snap, roll to his right, fires it on third down. Good broken tackle there by Nestler. Nestler will work his way out across midfield. So 45 yards gained so far on this drive for Fruita as they have it 1st and 10. Knows the football right at midfield. 4:46 remaining. Tigers will have an extra day of rest compared to whichever opponent they face next week. Rowell will hand it off on the jet sweep, and oh man, that was well read and a huge tackle for a loss that time. That was Connor Hill that got in there and made the big tackle for a loss of 6 on a quick jet sweep. .4:15 and counting. Under center now. Roll. I formation. Fakes. Now will give it on the reverse. And Nestler will run it across the 50 and finally be corralled out of bounds. Need to get to the 40 and they'll spot him out at the 39. Just enough for a first down. And under 4 minutes to go and a fresh set of downs here. So pretty much next weekend's field is set except for the Chatfield Ponderosa game and then the game that will obviously take place tomorrow between Pueblo West and Palmer Ridge. There's a handoff. Gotta imagine that we might have a Palmer Ridge scout or Pueblo West scout somewhere in the building here tonight. And for sure, you got to think that there'll be some Erie coaches rolling down to Palmer Ridge tomorrow. 2nd down and 5 here. Handoff to the fullback. And not much going there over the right side. Getting slammed to the turf that time for Fruita was Samuel Ontiverios. So 3rd and 3, 3:14 remaining. Snap, give. And not much going there. The Tigers penetrated well that time. That was Andrew Nazarenas on the tackle. And that'll bring up 4th and 3 here for Fruita. Under 3 minutes to go here. Tigers lead it by 30, 50-20 here in the second round of the 4A state playoff bracket. Rowell under center. Takes the snap. Runs option to the right side. Tucks it around the corner and has enough for the first down. Picked up about 6 on the play. Needed 3, got 5 or 6. And renews the fresh set of downs, but this has pretty much chewed up all the clock here on this drive for Fruita. So 1st and 10 here for Fruita. Rowell fakes and then trips. And the Tigers went to touch him down, but fellas, once you're down in high school, you were down. And a loss there of about 5, maybe 6 yards there for Fruita. That'll bring up 2nd and 16. Fruita comes out in the I formation, 1:40 and counting here on the clock. They'll send Nestler in motion. They'll fake the end around to him. They'll throw the corner route, and well defended that time. Trey Kana going up to try and pluck that one over the top of Kana's head was William Jones, and as soon as he reached out his hands, Kana punched his hands up, and without looking was able to punch the football away to knock it incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd and 16. On a chilly night here in Erie. And the football season will continue for the Erie Tigers. Next game will be a road game no matter the outcome of tomorrow's game. Now a fake handoff, a roll, fire down the field, and that one is caught inside the 20 down to the 18. Once again, that's William Jones, the senior. Big senior on the target and a 1st down. No, actually, that's a little bit short. They needed to get to the 17. They got to the 18. So the clock's still rolling here, 1 minute and 2 seconds. Fourth and about 1.5 here. Fruita taking their time. 45 seconds left here. Handoff up the middle, big hole, and a good run there from the 18 all the way down to about the 7, maybe the 6-yard line, a pickup of 12. 38 seconds and counting. And now they'll roll it here, 1st and goal. Fruita see if they can score one more time here before they leave this field. Rowell will roll to his right, looks, fires in the end zone. Oh, and an unnecessary shove by the Erie DB in the end zone. The ball was thrown behind the intended target, and Kana just kind of shoved Kendall Teal to the ground. What's going to be a penalty there on Erie? So 21 seconds left. It'll now be 1st and goal from the 3. It'll be there a touchdown. You got to figure if Erie gets a stop, probably the last play of the game. Another pass play. And no, that'll bounce off, so that'll fall incomplete. So not the last play. We'll have just didn't see Fruita thrown again. 16 seconds remaining here in this one. And the run play is stopped, and then that should do it as the clock ticks under 10 seconds left. And Fruita trying to get to the line to snap this one. This will be the last play regardless. They do get it off with 1 second left, handoff, and Fruita scores. So as time expires, Fruita scores to make it 26-50. And the officials will say no extra point needed. And that will do it. So the final score in this one, Erie wins it 50-26. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in, especially for those of you in the Fruita and Grand Junction area listening to us on AM radio on the team. And a special shout out to our team. It's Ethan Dillinger, Danae Shera, Spencer Blaylock, and JJ King, all part of our broadcast crew here tonight. So glad you could join us. One more time, the Tigers win it by a final score of 50-26. They'll head to the quarterfinals here. They will take on the winner of Palmer Ridge versus Pueblo West next, either Friday or Saturday night. They will play tomorrow, Palmer Ridge and Pueblo West. So that should be a good one next week, regardless of tomorrow's outcome. But the Tigers season rolls on, and once again, in impressive fashion. Thanks for tuning in tonight to the Erie Tiger Network. And until next time, Tiger fans, I'll chirp at you later.